Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final week of group stage here at the Aegis Marauders League. My name is Moose, and joined here today by the fabulous Septi. Septi
Fabulous.
rocking the 100 Thieves shirt. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Moose. You know, you're looking pretty clean yourself with a Tide shirt.
Oh well, it's a vote shirt.
Oh, it's a vote shirt. Never mind.
It's a
It looks
vote
like you,
shirt.
you could understand how I would be confused there. Anyway, no, I'm doing pretty well for myself, Moose. I'm really excited to get into these final weeks of regular season. It's just a reminder, this is going to be before we go into qualifiers. So qualifiers takes the top 5 seeds, I believe, or top 4 seeds from each group and puts them into a small little bracket where I believe the top seeds fight it out for top seeding, and then everyone else fights out how do they get seeded for the playoff draw. But so today we're going to have Dorado Gaming Alpha versus LiT Esports in a game which actually could decide the first overall seed coming out of the Void group. If LiT Esports are able to take this series 2-0, they will be able to overtake Dorado, who currently sits at a 4-0 match record and 8-1 game record at the top of the Void standings, Moose.
Yeah, and yeah, just to kind of like highlight that here in the Void standings, Dorado Gaming Alpha, undefeated so far. LiT Esports did fall in their game against Artivore Esports, comfortably in that third seeding position, followed by Hypnotic Gaming and then Team Snoopy, both at 1 and 3. Novasphere Gaming Omega, which is the final team of the Void Division, currently 0-4. They would need to win this game in order to have a chance unless they FF'd, but it does not look like that is the case. And that's actually going to be another exciting match in the Void Division. Novasphere Gaming Omega versus Hypnotic Gaming is one of the other matches here today.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really, I mean, considering the season is just, a single round robin, there are so many tight groups. I think I see at least 3 or 4 groups. I mean, looking at the Shurima division, we have 3 teams that are currently sitting on 3 wins. Granted, US Army Esports has already completed their matches for the season, so they will finish out at 3-2. But we have a barnstormer of a final week for a whole bunch of divisions. Dropted Gaming, I believe, has locked their spot up in first in the Ixtal division, whereas AML Yeet List, if they are able to get a win, they hold their destiny in their own hands in the Ionia standings. We are just, we're waiting for these teams to get ready for draft, so please bear with us just a little bit. But yeah, taking a look at Dorado Gaming Alpha, LiT Esports now rather, Inferno, Boyster, French Caps, Deadbody, and Living Phoenix, and then a sub on their team who has far too many characters in their name that I do not know the sound for. But no, LiT Esports, they have been doing pretty well. Only dropped 2 games so far this season, currently with a +4 game differential. I'm being told it's just is the pronunciation. But no, I mean, this is going to be an exciting series. I think Dorado Gaming have given us some pretty good content so far on the stream. I remember watching Sai, I believe it was, earlier on this season, and they pulled out some pretty interesting comps. I think we saw the Udyr come out from Halls in that game. But I mean, these teams, this is the best kind of match, Moose, because teams are forced to leave it all out there on the Rift to, decide who is going to get the easier seeding come playoff time. And hopefully with the draft on our screen, we might be able to get into it shortly. But I mean, I'm just, these teams have been preparing. This is the final week. I believe this is the first week on a new patch for them, if I'm not mistaken. I could be misremembering. I think it's actually the second week on the patch for them. But we are getting into draft now. Just a quick note as we head in. Ashe, super high priority. Leona still very strong in the support pool. But we're going to have to see what these teams decide to do as we get into it.
Yeah, and then really quickly going over the roster in the opponent side with Dorado Gaming Alpha, you got Rocket, Dracos, Bounty Hunter, Kiona, and then New Worth. I think something to really be interested about as we move into the draft is going to be this bottom lane. You've got Deadbody and Living Phoenix, who are a mainstay in the AML. They have been part of the league for a while. They are a longtime duo that has had very good success as a duo and in these teams. And then you've got Kiona on the other side, #1 in kills per game, most gold per minute, has in a top 10 in CS per minute. So it's going to be very interesting as we get into the draft there. But let's go ahead and get started with it as the bans are now underway. And as predicted, I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of those bottom lane bans coming out. The Seraphine, the Ziggs, Zeri, and Shyvana are going to be the first 4 bans of this series.
Yeah, Shyvana, an interesting ban actually, because this is a champion that has been popping up a lot more, I would say, in low elo, just because she is such a pub stomper, being able to get a massive power spike at that level 6 with her dragon form. Leona also going to hit the ban table, but Shyvana has been able to build this hybrid AD AP build for the longest time, where she'll go Shojin into an AP item, most often Leandre's, because you get that scaling damage throughout a fight. But Viego will be first taken away by Alpha here, as we're gonna have to see if Derikos can actually do a lot of work on this champion. Not often that we see picks like Viego taken first, when champions, like Ashe, like Brand, like Zyra have had such high priority in these series so far. Ezreal as well is another one, a very powerful flex. And Moose, I don't know if you noticed, but Corki and Tristana are still available, and I know that they both got hit with some nerfs. But judging from pro play and seeing, what these players have been doing since those nerfs, they really don't seem to care all that much that the champions have been changed. Ezreal Lilia, a very strong potential mid-jungle duo, but Ezreal just a very strong flex overall.
Yeah, could go into French Caps or Dead Botting's hands. Bioster, I think, is most definitely going to be facing off against Viego in the jungle. And so we'll see what Dorado Gaming Alpha want to do in response to that. Talked about the power of the Ashe. It is still a very high priority pick, and it's going to be locked in here. Last week you were talking about it being most likely, or I was told, pardon me, by Orbital, that it's going to be most likely in the ADC role. You assume that that's going to be the case here?
I mean, pretty much. I don't think we're in a meta where you want to be playing Ashe support, given the desire for a lot of these players to have, your Nautiluses, your Brahms, your Rels. Ashe cannot really stack up against it. Yes, you'll have some push in the early game, but let's just call it, the hammer will fall on your head fairly quickly once some help is applied to the Ashe lane. Hoi going to be the last one locked in for Dorado Gaming Alpha in this first phase. A champion that I think does decently well into Ezreal. It is interesting into Lilia. It is not the most amount of lockdown for Alpha, because I was gonna say Nautilus is definitely a champion that is used most times to lock down the Lilia, and I'm curious. Yeah, Braum instantly taken off the table by LiT there. They know the matchup. They want to make sure that this Nautilus is gonna have a fun time this game. And it sort of pinches Alpha. If Rel gets banned here, they're sort of out of options in terms of engaged supports, unless they, really want to stretch and go for the likes of an Alistar. That, to be honest, is just going to get run circles around, or is just going to have circles run around them by the Lilia and by the Ezreal, and doesn't really pair too well with Ashe. And once that happens, you're sort of forced to then go for an enchanted support, try and play for lane dominance, and pick some kind of, blind tank engaged topside, which for a blue side comp isn't the worst thing in the world. Renekton taken off the table by Alpha, probably predicting, hold on, as I was saying that the Rel might get taken off, it's going to be the Alistar now, taken away by LiT, which leaves pretty much just Rel available in terms of those, super S tier supports that we've been seeing around the Rift. But one other thing about Dorado Gaming Alpha's comp is that they are not very tanky. If anyone were to get hit by a Nautilus hook, let alone even just some poke coming out from the Ezreal, they are in for a world of hurt. But we're gonna have to see how Dorado Gaming want to round out this ban phase, and it will be Camille.
Yeah, going to see what Dorado Gaming wants to put in for the front line, taking out some of those potential tank busters in the early game, and then later on in the contest with the Camille. You mentioned that Rel is still in play. That would also give Dorado Gaming Alpha that front line. And so now that Esports need to decide where they want to go for this R4 pick. Mid is still on the table, ADC is on the table, top is on the table, and it's Jace, another flexible option that's going to be chosen here for the R4 for LiT Esports.
Yeah, I mean, Jace is kind of nice here. That I think you at this point know that the Ezreal is going to go bottom. I think if you pick a third AD carry here, it is going to be pretty difficult to play the game. Rel is going to be hovered for the time being. Rakan is also available, but I think it goes back to the composition being too squishy. And I like what LiT have done so far. They have a lot of range with the Ezreal Jace. They have the hard engage from Nautilus. as well as the follow-up from Lilia, Kennen is going to be the answer for Alpha. And this is sometimes a direction that we see teams pick once they've realized that they're in the hole of, we don't have the super S tier champions. And just before I say this, Kennen is not a very good matchup into Jace. The Jace has a very good time being able to trade at range, then being able to, have favorable trades in melee. Rel gonna be the last thing locked in for Alpha. I do not mind it. It is nice wombo combo CC with the Kennen if they're able to work together. But LiT now gonna be locking in their last pick, and it looks like they're hovering top laners for the time being, which means that this Jace would be going mid into the Hui, which I don't really like the matchup for. Because if Iris Bounty Hunter is able to play it well, they should be able to, have their fear ready so the Jace can never really melee trade onto them. But we are going to have to see what LiT decide to do with their final pick. Because again, this would be into a Kennen, and it will be that Olaf as the last pick.
Yeah, and now these teams are locked in. You get that front line for Dorado Gaming Alpha in the Rel, and I think overall, LiT Esports are happy with the way that they drafted this. They put in a lot of priority with the bottom side of the Rift, that Alistair, that Braum, and then that Leona ban, really kind of pinching the pool here. Maybe having Keona be a little bit, or having a little bit of struggle, having to have New North, go so deep into their champion pool, and we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, I mean, this Olaf is a little bit out of place, let's call it, because there aren't really dive partners with the Olaf. It's sort of just the Nautilus, in which case Olaf hitting frontline just feels like a weird thing to do, especially when the frontline, is Rel and Kennen, a champion 1 that you're not going to kill, and a champion 2 that's going to be one-shotting you when you go into that Ragnarok. But I think this has to be a confidence thing for Inferno to be able to pull this out in game number 1 into a matchup that, again, is not very good for them. The Kennen will be able to have that lightning rush to be able to get away should they ever find themselves in a unfavorable trade with the Olaf. And I don't know. I like Alpha's draft. I like LiT's draft, bar the Olaf, and I'm ready and willing to be proven wrong.
Yeah, good to see if Inferno can bring the heat against the Kennen here. I would be surprised if we saw that switch up and then maybe the Jace goes topside, Olaf goes mid. I don't think that that's going to be the case in
Lilia
the Master
top,
Grandmaster level plays. Oh, Lilia top. That's the misdirection.
I think that's even worse than Olaf. But
okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Saying. Yeah, but. I want to talk about the remainder of the season as we move into this final week of regular play. I was talking about Kiana on the Dorado Gaming Alpha side being someone who's very top level in terms of stats. But overall, between these two teams, you've got a lot of dominance within the Void division, multiple members in those top 10 stats. And so I am very excited to see how these two teams who have not yet faced off against each other, the 1 and 2 seed, with these great stat lines to go back on, are going to be able to perform against each other.
Stats can only tell you so much, right? Because these are the top 2 teams in the division. That's the dumbest thing I think I've ever said. Stats can almost tell you so much. I think I've used stats to determine a lot of the way I view drafts in the past, and I have been proven wrong more times than I'm willing to admit. Many of which have been on broadcast. I'm sure many people could probably pull examples of when I've been wrong. But no, I think stats are great when they are things, like kill participation, like kills and assists per minute, like vision score percentage, because those things actually, they talk about how the story of a game will go. If you see a support with, high kills and assists at 15, that they're going to be roaming around, they're going to be playing a lot. And if you see players with similar kill participations, again, i.e. a jungler and a support, they're going to be playing together, that going into the game. And so, yes, players have, high stats in particular areas, but I'm a believer that, you could tell a lot about a game. I don't always like to talk about stats because for me, I'll be able to tell how the game is going to go. But again, I'm just going to end this the way I started it. I don't like making determinations off of stats, but if I had to make a determination, I mean, we talked about it last week, right? The jungler for the team, I'm forgetting what their name was. Oh man, it was the jungler that picked.
Got it.
Silas. I'm forgetting their name, but we talked about it. I was like, they're gonna play this champion because they go for high kills per minute. They are a type of jungler that is going to be aggressive and try and play this champion that rewards aggression. And so the stats correlate, Moose, but they often don't. I don't know. I'm losing my mind.
Fair enough. I'm gonna stop you right there because I think you're just spiraling at this point. Septi trying to stir the pot. I'm gonna get you out of it. I'm gonna get you out of it, Septi. All right. Yeah. Let's go ahead and jump into the Dragon Draft, the final Dragon Draft of the regular season. Update on where we stand. Septi, you've been on a roll. 5 correct Dragon picks comparatively to my 2. And interestingly,
that would mean I'd win the next one, right?
Statistically speaking, yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes. To full circle that, to circle back.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting left though, Septi. No Chemtech souls yet on the stream. Dragon. Your favorite dragon. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick that first because you did predict the last dragon in week 4. So I'll go ahead and pick the Chemtech soul. I'm going off of stats because I believe in them.
You're going off of what you're talking
odds.
about?
I'm going off of odds. That's what I'm doing.
The odds that everything will come back to 50%,
yes,
or whatever. All right. So if you're going Chem, I will go for Cloud and Infernal.
Cloud and Infernal. Okay, very good. And I am going to end my draft with Ocean and Mountain, which will leave you.
You left with my favorite dragon? My second favorite dragon, I mean?
I'm being nice today.
Thank you so much for being nice. And in the spirit of being nice, Moose, I'm going to take a break from myself and be nice to myself. But while we do that, you guys please stick around and take a listen to our sponsors, read out by a lovely friend of ours in Slayer.
Quick shout out to ProComps, our sponsor and a game changer app for the League community. This isn't just like the other tools. It's your personal draft coach, perfect for both teams and solo players. In fact, you can pair it with any other app you use. ProComp stands out with features like custom champion pools, personalized tier lists, and live draft advice. Think of it as having a virtual coach and a strategy toolkit all in one. They offer real-time champion ban recommendations. They already have over 200,000 downloads and thousands of daily users just like you. ProComps is user-friendly and totally free. It is a no-brainer to at least give it a go. Download ProComps now, and you'll experience a whole new level of drafting power in your league games. Go to procomps.gg, download it from Overwolf, or click the panel below on our stream.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Aegis Marauders League. We are now starting our last week of regular season play. We touched on it in the draft that both these teams, they're definitely making it to the qualifiers, but a win for one of these teams would solidify their first seed spot as we move into the playoffs. So, Septi, you think the pressure is getting to these players, or are they ready and prepared?
Well, Dorado Gaming have 2 chances to get at least 1 win out of this series. And that's all they need when it comes to actually staying in first place, because they will have game tiebreaker over LiT if that were the case. So, but I mean, LiT need to win 2-0, and I think they are set up well to do so. A bit of an invade coming in here to try and get a ward. Living Phoenix might be super lucky here and get the least contested ward of their life, as Dereko is going to get spotted super late into the start of this game. So they know now, LiT know that the Dorado Gaming jungler is forced to start on that top side. There is Lilia going to take her Raptors first, which is a very common path. So we can potentially see her back there after Crab if nothing is really happening on the map.
And we'll wait and see, what Bioster wants to do. Like you said, going for the Lilia, really looking to get that level 6. I'd say for both junglers. Dereko is also looking to be able to get that heartbreaker, but could potentially go for those ganks a little bit earlier on if they so desire. But I want to look at some of the summoner spells, Septi. Bounty Hunter going to be going with the teleport. Rocket on the Cannon going to be going with the teleport. And Inferno going to be going for the Flash Ghost. So a bit of that side lane pressure advantage going to be going to Dorado Gaming Alpha.
Yeah, I think critically, though, Rocket having that teleport means that the side lanes are going to be so much so in favor of Dorado Gaming in this game. Critically, Rocket didn't go for any movement speed runes to get through this lane, so gonna be purely relying on the lightning rush. As a nice trade again on mid laner. Iris, Bounty Hunter, and French Caps going back and forth. Only 1 potion left in that lane. But on the note of Inferno's Ghost, you have to take it this game if you are the Olaf. If you don't, you are never touching anyone that is a key target for you. Even Rocket, this cannon will be able to just stun you and run away like that, and completely kite you down. And yeah, I mean, just look at the top side. Look at the absolute control that Rocket had on that top wave the entire time. And I think Dorado knew that this Lilia was going to be pathing down. And so we might get a bit of a potential skirmish here, as Bioster is going to be finishing up their camps around the same time as the Viego on this first clear. Viego very quick with the if skills are leveled correctly. But no ward yet. Going to be able to spot the Lilia. No, Bioster going to base instantly on this Lilia, not even looking to fight for the crab.
Yeah, and that's going to give Dereko's that Scuttle Crab. No sight of Bioster could potentially give Rocket a bit of hesitation as they continue to push that wave forward. Bounty Hunter in the mid lane, however, going to be giving a lot of damage over to French Caps. Teleport already used, landing those combos and getting French down to a little bit over half HP. Even picking up some potions and using one of them as they continue to be bullied in that mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta talk about Rocket's trading in the top side. The area on both mid and top for Dorado Gaming have been going crazy. Bounty Hunter actually gonna get jumped on by French Caps here. Does take a tower shot. Both mid laners so low, and teleport has already been used by the Jace in this mid lane. So Iris, Bounty Hunter gonna get a nice base for themselves, and will have both health and item lead against their counterpart, who bought no combat stats, only a tier to the potential full Ionian boots coming out from the Dorado Gaming mid laner. And Lilia, once again, was spot on the top side, did get the crab and the second spawn of their top camps. But there has been no let up from this Dorado Gaming side. There has been pushing all game from all 3 lanes, so much so that Derekos has been able to not have to worry a single bit about the potent Lilia invade and the speed at which she is able to steal away camps. And look at this trading on the top side. Inferno, this guy had counter pick, and I'm sure it was for the level 6 advantage when you're able to fight the cannon without getting stunned by the slicing maelstrom. But it's going to be so hard to get there. Inferno will take an absolute beating, and honestly, credit to them for only being down 8 CS so far in this lane.
Yeah, CS is very close between both teams, as we are going to get a play at the Dragon Pit. 4 members of Dorado Gaming Alpha are here. The flash is forward, and flash is used on both sides. LiT might be in trouble, and first blood is going to go to Derricos, who's going to be able to get the reset onto the Nautilus to getting a double kill, trying to get the health back, but not going to be able to survive. Is now Newworth maybe in a bad position, as French Caps is now on their way. Flash is used by Deadbotting, Bioster, and an Infernos on the top side of the Rift to get away from Rocket's slicing Maelstrom. Overall, though, a 2 for 2 with Dorado Gaming getting first blood.
Yeah, 2 for 2, and I would say it should have been potentially even a 2 for 0 or a 1 for 0 there. Derricos and New North, sorry, going so far under the tower of LiT there just to get Deadbotting, who was still able to hold on to their cleanse there. Flash is burned from all 4 members of Dorado Gaming, as well as 3 of the 4 members of LiT. And the kills got spread out on this red side here, which I actually kind of like, as both French Caps and Bioster use them very well.
Acceleration gate coming in, another skirmish potentially coming through. Rocket using that teleport, does not have slicing Maelstrom, as Bioster is on their way, going to be getting some vision of the LiT side jungle, as 1 crab is now remaining. Pardon me, 1 grub is now remaining. The rest of Dorado Gaming Alpha looking to go in. His acceleration gate will miss that second target, and the Void Grubs will inevitably get taken by Derricos. Dorado Gaming Alpha getting that early buff to their siege potential.
Yeah, I think it's really good that LiT was able to actually back off when they were. Rocket still had Slicing Maelstrom, still had Flash available, so if Bioster and Living Phoenix walk even a little bit closer, the fight could be absolutely turned in favor of Dorado. I say turned in favor of them. They were already able to get all 3 of the grubs, which is going to be so nice for their pushing power, so nice for Rocket, who has just been wailing away on this top side. As Deadbotting does hit 6 now. Gonna have the ultimate available to them, as New North is back in the lane. As hold on, the fight going on.
Oh, maybe even overextension here by New North. Gets hit by the dredge line. True Shot Barrage will get Kiona down to less than half HP. Will use one of those rejuvenating biscuits. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is still online, and New North looking to potentially get that level 6 as that dredge line is going to land. That's going to be the barrier used by Kiona, going to stay back into this contest. Nice arcane shift from Deadbotting to avoid that stun and inevitable death. And now Dorado Gaming Alpha and LiT Esports have very low ADCs, and their junglers are on the way.
Yeah, Bioster got spotted by that hog shot there, but the Dorado bot lane need to get this wave in. They do not want it to be held. And with Derricos showing up here, did actually dodge the scrying orb there. Iris Bounty Hunter gets spotted out. No flash on Deadbotting yet. Ulti going down. It's Living Phoenix.
Dredge line going to land. The ultimate's going to pop, and Kiona's going to get their first kill of the game. 1-0 and 2 on the Ashe, and the overplay from LiT Esports will give Dorado Gaming their 3rd kill. French Caps did not go and assist their bottom lane, but is now pushing a big wave towards that middle tier 1 tower.
Yeah, I mean, Dorado Gaming did a nice job to find the end of that play there. They roamed 4 down. The push from Iris Bounty Hunter let them actually have a free move, and I think they only lost about a plate and 1 wave in this mid lane. Teleports, again, not available. No global abilities for this LiT Esports side, which means that once the bot lane starts fighting, it is, 2v2 until someone shows up, and Bioster being spotted by that hawkshot was not really able to make too much of an impact now. But we're approaching 10 minutes, 9 now. Bioster going to be able to get their 2nd blue buff. As it's about an 800 gold lead 1,200 gold lead rather, for the side of Dorado Gaming here. They are sitting pretty. No completed items just yet, but the Ashe, I mean, the CS leads for Dorado are looking pretty healthy. Ashe up about, 17 CS, 10 for the top side, and Rocket as New North. It's just going to be annoying here in the river trying to defend their ward, but we'll know now that there is a pink in that pixel bush. And we're going to have to see how these teams decide to go about taking the next set of grubs that are going to spawn in about a minute's time.
Yeah, nice acceleration gate, going to stop Bounty Hunter from being able to back. Just about to have the TP, though, so we'll see if they are able to pick up another segment of an item. It's going to be the Lost Chapter. Speaking of items, though, 3 stacks on Bioster's Dark Seal, and Kraken Slayer going to get completed for Derricos on the Viego. Gonna look to clear their top side of the rift as Biostar goes back themselves, picks up that Leandries to stay on pace with Dorado Gaming Alpha jungler, and looking to potentially go for a Void Grub fight here at that 10-minute mark.
Critically though, Biostar sort of avoided doing the thing that Lilias normally do. This champion is so powerful with movement speed, and a lot of Lilias will opt to delay their first item in order to pick up tier 2 boots. Doesn't look to have, oh no, has magical footwear this game, so not able to go for them early on, but we'll have them now. Derrico's gonna find Biostar, who has flash.
Flash gonna get used there. Lilting Lullaby is still available for the Lilia, but that flash is gonna be putting Dorado Gaming Alpha in a very good position here. Void Grubs are gonna get started. One of them's gonna get taken by Viego. You need 5 to be able to get the Hunger of the Void buff, and Flash is gonna have to use by Derrico's in response. New North is now here, and this is a big brawl, but big damage coming in from LiT Esports. They're not able to get Derrico's out though. Going to be able to survive with 1 HP as the Lilting Lullaby is now gonna come through on a New North. No way out of that one, and 2 kills for the LiT Esports squad, giving them over to French Caps and Biostar.
Yeah. And credit for sure has to go to Inferno there. You know, had the map awareness to mock down from that top side and was able to get the pinch onto the Dorado Gaming members first as they stepped into River, and then after that it was a complete wrap. A nice ulti from Living Phoenix as well as a follow-up Lilting Lullaby from Biostar just means that that fight goes fully in the way of LiT Esports. And nothing gained for it as well by the side of Dorado. You have a bit of pushing going on the bot side. You know, Rocket was able to crash a wave, but realistically, you got 1 grub and you gave away 2 kills, and that is very favorable for LiT there, as the gold lead now is going to swing the way of the red side here. Dragon going to be spawning in 2 minutes time. It will be a Cloud Dragon as the second dragon of the game. And now I think both teams are going to look to find the pressure points that are weak on their opponents, and for topside, or for Dorado rather, it's going to have to be onto Inferno. This Olaf has not been able to survive against the Kennen all game. It has been the story so far. And I saw something just now that I really need to talk about, and it's the fact that Inferno has been getting bullied so hard in this lane by the Kennen that they felt the need to go for Merc Treads, an item that primarily gives you tenacity from CC, which Olaf naturally is going to be able to ignore with their ultimate. So it is a redundancy of stats, and it is not the best use of gold by the top laner in Inferno. Would have rather maybe they sat, you know, on a Hex Drinker, maybe just on a Negatron Cloak, but it is the choice that they have made, and Rocket needs to start doing something with this advantage. Iris Bounty Hunter gonna get jumped on though.
Oh, the fear's gonna come through though, and that's also going to be the ultimate drop to the arrow will not land, but the Magnet Storm will, and Bounty Hunter will be able to pick up French Caps to even out the kill feed. Now Durago's gonna be able to come through, gonna have the Heart Stealer available. Living Phoenix gonna be forced flash away, gonna get the stun onto the Nautilus. Nautilus is gonna go down, but the soul will not be stolen by Durago's, who will die. Killing spree for Biostar, who now has 8 stacks on the Dark Seal. Bounty Hunter will find it. Dead botting will fall. And it's Dorado Gaming Alpha that win out in the skirmish.
Yeah, really well done by Iris Bounty Hunter there to use the QW to get a snipe onto dead botting. And I thought that fight was going to start looking bad for Dorado. Derrico's went a little too far, I felt, with the Lilting Lullaby available for Biostar. But no, it was just a bit of bait. As Dorado Gaming now going to swing back ahead in this game, as well as keep applying pressure on the map. Dragon now spawning in 10 seconds time at pretty much the same exact timer as this Rift Herald on the top side. And I think this is exactly what you want to be seeing. Viego is starting to snowball. Iris Bounty Hunter is really starting to have a foothold in this lane. Has not been able to base for their first item, but should be able to pick up the Blackfire Torch here on this base, and will TP back out. But Inferno so low on this top tower, and Derrico smells it. Will they be able to make a play? Minions going down, only 1 available to them as the stun gonna land. Ragnarok popped.
A lot of damage going to come through, and Jericho's will be able to take out Inferno, but it's now going to be the slicing Maelstrom from Rocket trying to take out Biostar, but unable to do so. Lilting Lullaby will be nice by the Lilia. Now 4-0 into a full stack on that Dark Seal, and with Jungler dead, Dorado Gaming Alpha might think twice about going for the Rift Herald and could even lose this Dragon, Septi.
Yeah, I think good map read by Biostar to be able to be there to guard the dive. Yes, they went 1 for 1, and the tower probably will go down on this wave, or at least it will be the bot tower that goes down. Top fighting though, Biostar going to be going on a Rocket, does have the movement speed available to them. Flash from Rocket.
Gonna be forced to flash. Ghost is not available. That's on Inferno, and Rocket gonna try to get out.
Oh no,
gonna get hit by the Swirl Seed. Biostar is having a phenomenal game now, Septi. 10 stacks again on that Dark Seal. Now level 11, going to go back and we'll probably have a big buy coming up.
The lightning rat was not fast enough as Biostar lands again a nice swirling seed, and Inferno gonna get spotted back coming out onto the map around mid lane. And this is gonna start becoming a problem. Lilia is not a champion that you can give kills to willy-nilly, and it looks like she's gonna be going for a Zhonya second is what it looks like to me. I really like this pickup. She has so much extra gold in this game because of her 5 kills that she is able to go for honestly what I'd call a luxury item in this game, given the state that your top side is in. You don't need to go for the utility of a Rylai's. You don't need to go for a Blackfire Torch just yet. As Hui gonna start doing a lot of damage and dead botting, taking so much poke for absolutely nothing. As Dorado Gaming now gonna get a push in mid. Ezreal's just gonna go down in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, and now it's a 4v5. Biostar is still there though, and is going to be able to steal the Drake. Going to be able to get out using that flash, but Living Phoenix now caught in this play as the Infernos will blaze. Going to be Ragnarok popped by Inferno. Biostar needs to get out of this one. No! Can't get out of it. It's a double kill for Rocket, getting that shutdown money as well as taking off 5 stacks from that Dark Seal. LiT Esports get the dragon, but Dorado Gaming gets the gold.
Yeah, a Cloud Dragon rather, for 4 kills. It is exactly what you want if you're Dorado Gaming. I think the MVP of that fight has to be New North. Was able to use the crash down onto the 2 members that were trying to retreat in Biostar and critically caught the Lilia, who was worth somehow not extra gold, did not have a bounty, but had those Dark Seal stacks, which are so important to the Lilia that is trying to stay ahead of the curve of this game. Dragon did go down, which means that the scaling of Dorado Gaming will be slowed just a little bit, but they're sitting 4,000 gold ahead of their opponents right now. They're coming upon their second item completions across the board for the most part, and I think they're sitting in a good spot. I think that they have enough that they can really start taking control. IRS Bounty Hunter will be able to hold on. French Caps, are you walking into the belly of the beast? Rocket missed the Q. Not gonna get the trade.
Not going to get the trade here, but now French Caps might be in trouble. Little overextension is going to result in Jericho's picking up their 5th kill of the game. That Eclipse is now unlocked, and Dead Botting is also getting caught out and is going to get hit by more CC. Knocked up, stunned, hit by the arrow as the Rift Herald will get taken. We've now got a play on top side as Bounty Hunter is going to also get caught out of position. Everyone overextending. And so let's recap that there. Going to be a kill on French Caps, a kill on a Bounty Hunter. Both mid lanes are dead. Rift Herald taken by LiT Esports, but a tower is going to be under siege by Rocket on the bottom side of the Rift. Now the play is continuing, Septi. Jericho's will be able to take out Biostar. That is all the Dark Seal stacks now dead. The inner tower in the bottom lane is going to go down, and Living Phoenix is going to take their 5th death of the game, Septi.
There's a reason that Nautilus players are coined as the most likely to die throughout a game, and it's just because the champion, once you go in, once you are nearby a play, you have to commit. And that is the same for Living Phoenix. There a lot of kills going the way of Derricos this game, and a lot of kills that I feel like could have been shared, especially thinking of that kill on bot side onto French Caps could have been given to the Kennen, who has been doing a good job in this game, and if given that extra little bit of push, could absolutely turn the game in their favor. I'm not going to knock that kill in the top jungle there. It is what it is, but they're able now to knock down the 2nd tier mid tower with a very, very nice chunk of change in pocket. And once Derricos finishes their camp, I expect that they will be able to take a quick base. But yeah, it was a bit of miscommunication from Dorado Gaming. They had a nice play on the bot side there onto French Caps, who was vastly overextended while their team was going for a play onto the Rift Herald. And then Dorado just got overconfident. They thought that they could take a catch onto Dead Botting, who had no cleanse, and just overcommitted all the while their mid laner was getting dove on the top tower, and it was just a complete disaster across the map. And this is where I think LiT can be pretty happy. Even if they lose this game, they'll say, sure, we lose out on 1st place, but this team is beatable and we can win this series. Biostar, though, I think has to step up. Sitting on 2 items now with that Zhonya's completed is going to be the focal point for this red side comeback. The Lilia has been putting in work with those Lilting Lullabies, and I think is going to be the key to success should they be able to turn this one around.
Yeah, no super greedy build for Biostar. Slicing Maelstrom going to get dropped. A huge amount of damage onto French Caps, who is now 1 HP. There it is. Rocket will now be on a killing spree 3, 1, and 2. But I wanted to just highlight the Zhonya's Hourglass second pickups here for both Rocket and Bioster, as Baron gets taken and a potential heist against LiT Esports.
Yeah, I mean, they hit a ward while they were hitting it, so it should be quickly shut down by the red side here, regardless of them being down a member. But, I mean, I harped on Inferno for their boot choice earlier, and I feel like it's only the same. Oh, hold on. Maybe after this play.
And we got a fight now coming through. Lot of damage, though, into Kiona, who gets shut down. But that's going to be a nice masterpiece from Bounty Hunter. Derico's going to be on a rampage, going to be able to get that one reset onto the Nautilus. Now the second reset as he gets the double kill. Looking to go for the triple kill with a Heart Stealer once again. There it is with the flash forward. Triple kill for the Viego. Rocket teleport. Doesn't have, or used, just flash, no teleport there, as Heartbreaker gonna come through in on French Caps, gonna try to be able to go for the pseudo pentakill. I don't think they're gonna be able to make that happen, but that's gonna be 3 more kills going into Dorado Gaming's pocket as they increase the gold lead to 7,000 gold.
Yeah, 7,000 gold in the pocket of Dorado Gaming. 10 kills on Derikos, as well as a second dragon will most likely get picked up here for them. It is going to be Infernal Soul this game, and honestly, Derikos is going to be loving that. Just being able to do so much damage. Again, 10 kills on this Viego. They are an absolute monster on the Rift. And I think credit for that fight has to go to Kiona, to landing a massive arrow onto Biostar, who instead of, you know, opting out of the 4v5, opted to go in and flash in with the booming blows into the Lilting Lullaby. And I'm not quite sure if that was the play. I think if you don't have your Jason, it's a lot harder to play the game. Now, I imagine Dorado Gaming will try and just continuously shove in mid and top. I think they really need to try and accelerate this game, because it is not good if you let the poke team scale. Deadbotting has not finished their merrymaning yet, is still waiting on the gold to complete that item. Only sitting on Triforce 22 minutes into the game is disastrous for an Ezreal champion. And so, but even so, once Deadbotting is able to pick that up, the damage will start to come out from the poke champions of this LiT Esports side. And to remind you, the only real tank on the side of Dorado Gaming is going to be New North. And, you know, granted, they should be able to soak up a fair amount of damage with that Warmogs available to them, but again, can only tank so much, to the point where you are in kill range of, you know, a Living Phoenix hook or a Biostar E or an Inferno ulti. As what is going on top side, Rocket does have these Zhonyas.
Okay, Slicing Maelstrom gonna come through, and Zhonya's Hourglass is also gonna come in. Lots of damage dropped, but will get shut down as Derikos is now here. We've got teleports coming in from both sides, and it looks like the double teleport advantage for Dorado Gaming is gonna be enough for them to take huge damage. Quadra kill from the Queen of the Freljord, Kiona. Not able to get that pentakill, but the wallet has been massive for Dorado Gaming Alpha as they increase their lead to 9,000. They take out the last tower outside of LiT Esports base, and they can go back to Baron Nashor.
Yeah, they are going to find a really nice play. That was the most interesting engage I think I've ever seen from Rocket there. I thought they were escaping French Caps on the bot side. And instead it turned into an absolute destruction of the LiT Esports side there. They collapsed onto the Kennen TPing, and it let them have a perfect Slicing Maelstrom. And now Baron going to be warned by the side of Dorado Gaming, and this game is looking dire for the side of LiT Esports. Oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man. And I mean, this game, I mean, Kiona doesn't have flash anymore for, you know, reasons I'll let you all figure out. I.e. they tried to go for the Penta, and the Ezreal then just pressed the blast cone, but it doesn't matter. Dorado Gaming now going to take their full resets. They're going to get their buys. 3 items completed on some of the carries for Dorado Gaming. Supports still sitting on their measly 1 and components, as the Death Bush LiT is trying to set up is going to get instantly spotted out by the Hawk Shot. Well done from Kiona.
And now Dorado Gaming, as you were talking about, having huge power in this game, wearing purple for the next 2 minutes, can very easily close this one out if they get the right angles, if they get the right team fight. earlier on in the contest, Rocket was able to take out the inhibitor tower in the bottom lane and is pushing out as the pseudo 131 style is going to collapse in onto LiT Esports. Rocket gonna get hit by that dredge line. Living Phoenix now away from the rest of the team as New North could look to go for a Magnet Storm here. Nope, going to back away, but still 2 lanes for Dorado Gaming Alpha are pushing towards the Nexus, and they still got plenty of time on this Baron buff.
Yeah, the push will finally come in onto 2 lanes. Rocket going to be solo pushing on the top side with 4 grubs as well, hitting the towers. They are going to get the little grubs as well. Should just be able to get 1, but the true damage additional is going to be really nice. As Derico is going to take a bunch of damage though from Biostar, who is going to be finally working towards that second burn item. And now with the top supers coming in, this will help Dorado Gaming a lot when it comes to, hold on.
We got to play here on a Living Phoenix, and the ultimate's going to get dropped. Kyoto's going to be unstoppable. Everyone going to dodge that true shot for Raj, except for Derrickos, who is 1 HP, going to be able to get the soul reset on to the Nautilus. Heartbreaker available once again as the second inhibitor against Esports is going to follow. Rocket going to try to get out against Dead Body, going to be able to land the stun, but has no more follow. Is going to go golden as the Magnet Storm is going to drop. Rocket still alive, going to try to get out of this one. Will be able to take out Dead Body, French Caps, Living Phoenix, Inferno are all dead. And yes, Biostar gets a double kill, but it is the ace for Dorado Gaming Alpha as they win this game 1 in 27 minutes.
Yeah, and it will be a full domination. Living Phoenix is back, but I don't think Nautilus will be able to do much versus those 3 members of Dorado Gaming. And yeah, it was a very, very nice victory for them, and it sets the tone. They guarantee their top seed, I think, with this lock-in, or sorry, with this win rather. And set the precedence for what, again, could be an incredibly exciting series. We saw back and forth. LiT was able to punch back a couple times. Biostar, you know, found a couple nice plays. If it had not been for Kiona with some, I would say, some nice usage of the hawk shots as well as some nice arrows, we could be seeing a different outcome to this game. Purely because I think that Herald or the second grub play was so pivotal when it came to the goings of the map. I mean, we could see 12 minutes. Dorado Gaming were up 2,000 gold, and then it swung in favor of LiT there. And, you know, had the game gone, you know, slightly cleaner for the red side there, they would have been able to completely take off, because once you give a poke composition the lead, they seldom let it go unless, you know, better macro is played. And Dorado Gaming, they had it in spades in this first game, going up to 14,000 gold by the end of it, taking every single tower, every inhib, and of course the Nexus. Only dropping 1 dragon and 1 tower, but I would say a very solid game 1 for Dorado Gaming Alpha.
Definitely so. As you talked about, early game looking good for LiT Esports. Biostar at one point rocking those 10 stacks on the Dark Steel and has the most damage on the side of LiT Esports. But unfortunately, they were seeing a bunch of kills go into Rocket's favor, into Kiona's favor, getting that quadra kill, and were inhibited by a very difficult game for Dead Botting and Living Phoenix. I think 1 and 13 total on that duo. Definitely not the result that LiT Esports was looking for.
No, definitely not. I think they have maybe 1 or 2 things they can go back to the drawing board with. I don't think Inferno had as bad of a game as, you know, I might have thought they would have on the Olaf. I don't think there was really much of a game that the Olaf had. I think they kind of just got, you know, pushed under their tower for 12 minutes. Had a nice roam to the second grubs, and then kind of was just not really very existent in the game. Was able to do some Olaf things later on once, you know, people didn't have flashes, but when you have, you know, 2 strong poke champions like the Jace, like the Ezreal, you want a champion that is able to do a lot more, I think, with less gold. Again, something like a Cassante, something like an Ornn, not really something like an Olaf, but this is amateur. We are not playing for the world championship here. So if these players believe that these are the champions they need to succeed, then by all means, they can play them to their heart's content. But with that said, I think both teams are going to take a few minutes to go over some draft changes they might be wanting to make going into game 2, and we will also discuss. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with game number 2 between Dorado Gaming Alpha and LiT Esports.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Aegis Marauders League. We got a very strong showing from Dorado Gaming Alpha in game one. We're able to take it in 27 minutes against LiT Esports. And now it is an opportunity for these two teams to reset. Septi, we've got LiT going to the blue side to begin this draft.
Yeah, I mean, Dorado Gaming was able to have a nice draft from blue last time. I think the ability to have more vision on the opposing team, granted you don't get the counter pick on 5, but I think we can both agree that LiT did not use it very well. So they're probably better off just getting more priority picks earlier on. So we will have to see how they adjust going into game 2. And I think the answer has been we ban away the Hui. The Hui was a problem. Iris Bounty Hunter Hui was no good for us. And I have to agree. The Hui did a whole bunch of work. Brown ban in the first phase is really interesting coming out from LiT as they take away the Viego. What is with this Viego first pick priority?
Maybe they know something that we don't.
I mean, they must.
They must. But we'll see what Dorado Gaming wants to go with. Kiona getting that quadra kill in game 1 on the Ashe, going to be hovering the Draven potentially here for game 2. The other bans are going to be the Seraphine, the Ziggs, the Leona. Same for Dorado Gaming Alpha, and then LiT Esports going to ban the Braum, the Zeri, and like you said, the Hui. So there was one difference here in this draft, and it was that Shyvana, which is now going to be available for Dorado Gaming to pick up here, and they're going to do it R1. Yeah,
Derrico's going to get Shyvana this game. Curious to see it on stream. I have a decent idea of, I mean, the champion is your prototypical, you know, farm until 6 and then we gank. So, I mean, to see if they'll be able to do it again, that's sort of what Bioster did last game on that Lily a little bit, was trying to cover some ganks here and there, but Shyvana will be able to do it in spades. And I really like this adaptation from Dorado Gaming. Typically the answers to Shyvana are, you know, your Lilias, your Brands, your Zyras, the champions that are able to, you know, deal your percentage health damage from further away. I was gonna say Karthus is the only one that I really think could fit here, and I think this has to be either a bot lane Karthus or a top lane Viego, and I'm really curious to see which is which. But oftentimes with Karthus bot lane, we see something like an Alistar or something that is able to roam very early on and leave the Karthus to farm or to tower with teleport. Because, I mean, even if the Karthus dies and gets dove, oftentimes we'll be able to use that passive to not only take the entire wave, but also potentially take a kill back for themselves. And the game just gets more and more interesting. It is going to probably be Karthus bot here into a Rel, which is a little bit spooky for the Karthus. This Draven has been hovered all ban phase, or all pick phase. I don't know if it's real or not, and I feel like I'm getting played a bit.
We'll see what they decide to go for. Jinx now hovered at the very end of the draft. I think that it's now locked in, and it sure is. The last member of the phase is going to be that Renekton, which was banned away in game 1. So Inferno this time opting to go for a pickup here, and because the draft has been kind of not uneven here, with the ADC role getting picked for Dorado and the top lane getting picked for LiT, there's some opportunity for some spicy picks and bans as we move into the second phase.
Yeah, and I like the adaptation coming out from Dorado here. They know that the Karthus is going to more or less want to be the sole AP for LiT, as, I mean, any MR sort of takes away from the damage that Karthus does, and so penetration from this Karthus is going to be key this game. And so, yeah, I was gonna say the Alistar is a very nice pick with the Karthus if they're able to get it, but doesn't really matter for the time being. I'm not sure whose comp I like more right now. I like Dorado's adaptation that they've gone for the Jinx, because this is a champion that is very good at just, you know, sitting and farming, can, you know, stay in lane with Karthus while Rel roams. And Alistar gonna get taken off the board, but Nautilus rather is still available, and honestly still a very fine pick for LiT if they want to go for it. Bard and or Pyke are also available for them, but I mean, I'm curious to see what goes on here. I would imagine that we answer top lane here on 4 for Dorado Gaming. Probably knowing Rocket, maybe something along the lines of a Jax potentially. A Jax or a Camille are both picks that I know that they like to go back to. a lot. Corki are going to take it away by Dorado Gaming. Let's remember that a lot of their AP is already picked. A lot of AP is already picked for Dorado, as the Shyvana was locked in, so not really in too dire need of that. And if Jax gets picked, then it will be even more AP. But no, it will be the Ornn into the Renekton. A matchup that I imagine they're going to go for to try and match some of the damage that Karthus will do later on. And another champion that can just provide frontline for them. And if this, what is going on with LiT? What are they doing? What is going on?
What is happening here? I think we're pretty sure that Karthus is going to be going into that AD role, but if it was the Aatrox, could potentially be seeing a Renekton mid. Maokai now getting hovered. LiT Esports is just trolling us, Septi.
No, Maokai will probably be support here.
Yeah, it will. It's now the Maokai. We were given maybe some excitement as we moved into the final stages of this draft. You were talking about the Ornn, touching on it again. Once we get level 13, level 14, those ornaments are going to come out, and the scaling on Dorado Gaming side looks to be pretty effective here.
Sorry, what? Why are we getting baited? What is with these bait hovers? LeBlanc gonna get locked in. I'm not sure if I like this, because now you've gone from a composition that is Viego. Wait, also, oh yeah, it's Karthus AD. I made this clear to myself. But no, I mean, you started off with a composition that was really, really nice for LiT. You had Karthus that was, sole AP, was going to be able to do a whole bunch of damage by themselves. And really disincentivize Dorado Gaming from building MR because there was only one champion. But then in second phase, you went and you locked in Maokai and LeBlanc, which more or less gives Dorado Gaming free reign to build as much MR as they want, really, without any punishment. The last pick is going to be Talia, so mid lane for Dorado is locked in. I'm not really sure whose composition I like more. I think that, again, a lot of these comps have question marks. Maokai Karthus is an interesting lane. Maokai not known to be the best roamer, but I suppose is going to be used to try and make sure people get locked down from long range. I think LiT are just going into their bag and trying to get as many comfort picks as they can, and Dorado Gaming reaching in that same bag.
And there could be a bunch of tricks in there. They could pull a rabbit out of the hat. And for LiT Esports, an opportunity to take this to a game 3. You were talking about the opportunity that Karthus might just be the only AP choice here. I know in previous seasons we saw the potential for a AD or a hybrid LeBlanc. Is that possible in this game? Are we looking to maybe see that happen, or is this an AP build?
I hope not. It should just be an AP build. I have no idea if what is his name, Bob&Q, has been playing any AD LeBlanc. I mean, it could be a thing. It could very well be a thing that I'm not aware of. But I mean, it doesn't seem to be very good, especially into Talia, or especially into Shyvana and Ornn. I think it's really painful if you try and go AD versus them. They're just going to have so much natural resistance, so much health that LeBlanc really will never be able to to do much to you. I wouldn't have hated a switch up and you just put Renekton mid and you pick up a traditional AD carry and just let Karthus go jungle and Viego go top into the Ornn. It would have been a little bit interesting, but I think it might have been a little bit more stable than what you have now, because right now what you're looking at is you have 3 champions on the top side, and Renekton, Viego, and LeBlanc that really want to make plays as early and as often as they can, and you have an AD carry in Karthus who kind of just wants to not do much for a bit, wants to farm out and reach level 6 and get first, second item as fast as they can, without much in the way of variance. But I mean, LiT have a plan. I think they did a decent job last game. I think the bot lane was very stable. Again, Dead Botting and Living Phoenix were pretty. I mean, they got pushed in. They didn't have a great lane, but I think in this one it should be a little bit better. I imagine Living Phoenix will be leaving a lot more to try and make those those plays with the Renekton, Viego, and LeBlanc. So look for that a lot during the game, and I don't know. It's gonna be either a very fast-paced game or a very slow-paced game, with Dorado Gaming being able to fend off a lot of fast plays from LiT.
Yeah, and just to kind of touch on that again, a lot of potential late game for Dorado Gaming here on the table. They did pretty well at scaling themselves in game one, and so we'll see if they're able to replicate that with a similar type of late game or scaling composition, but a different way on how to execute it. You've only got one member of the Dorado Gaming squad that is staying on the same champion. That is New North on the Rel, a completely different lineup for LiT Esports. So anything is possible as we get ourselves ending out of the draft and then into the actual game. Septi, as we do that, let's go ahead and do our dragon draft here for game two. It was that Infernal Soul, which will increase
held up.
your lead. The stats indeed have held up.
The stats held.
But I'm gonna go for the odds again. You like stats, I like odds, or vice versa, or whatever we want to talk about it.
You like large statistics.
I like big large statistics that have very mean numbers. Chemtech Soul is gonna be my first pick for this dragon draft.
I'm gonna do the run back. Give me Infernal and Cloud.
Okay. You know what? I'll give you the run back, Septi. I'll take Ocean and Mountain, and I'll give you Cloud and Hextech.
Thank you.
Should be a fun game for sure. We talked about what's riding on this one for both teams. As you had alluded to, Dorado Gaming with this win could or has solidified their first seed position. But if LiT Esports fall in this one, they do have a chance to fall lower into the seedings in terms of the qualifier and give an opportunity for one of the other teams to take back that second spot and maybe have that moving into that qualifier next week. So a lot riding on this one for LiT Esports. Don't want to have that happen, so we'll wait and see how game number two plays out. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes for the action. See you guys soon.
So scared of getting used to this. All the vines that keep you tethered in your room. Well, someday both of us are leaving here, but for now I'll just bring this seed to you. Will you meet me in the daylight like we did before? Then I felt you on my shoulder, and you weren't suffering anymore. You said, I'm sorry that you worried, but don't apologize. I told you to forget me, but you stayed by my side when I said, don't try to make yourself remember.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Aegis Marauders League. Dorado Gaming Alpha have already secured their top spot in the Void division, but can now assert their total dominance of the division by taking out LiT Esports, only dropping one game in the entire regular season if they do. And LiT Esports looking to go for a response themselves and get them a win with the Viego pick B1 here in this series, the hot commodity for both these teams.
Who paged you? Who paged you to cast or curse them? Who did it? Was it Zol? Did Zol want a content game 3?
I plead the fifth.
All right.
But
Dorado
you know
Gaming
what?
is the content org a lot of the time, so
Yes.
we do poke fun if they're ever up 1-0 in a series and decide to make it 3 games, but not gonna be the case. Hopefully for Dorado Gaming, they would like to close this out in a quick 2-0 and leave no room for doubt as they head into what hopefully for them would be the winners qualifying group. As a bit of a trade here, Deadbotting gonna get jumped on by New North.
Oh boy, New North is going to take a lot of pressure there for Deadbotting, and that is going to mean that Exhaust was used as well almost instantaneously by the Karthus. That is a summoner spell down less than 2 minutes in.
Yeah, but look at how much health Deadbotting lost with the usage of the Exhaust. I mean, 2 things. One, I think it was smart that they used the Exhaust like that. It stopped Kiona from doing that much more damage. But second, they took Exhaust and not Teleport, which signals to me that Living Phoenix is going to play a lot more heavily towards this lane than what we previously thought. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. The whole benefit of Karthus is that you're able to survive in the 1v2 and you're able to TP back because you collect the wave anyway when you die if you get dove. But it seems that they're not going to try and use that as the optimal strategy so far. But well, we could talk about that if it ever comes up or becomes an issue. New North doing a really nice job here zoning away the Dorado, or sorry, the LiT Esports 80 carry. Trade going into the mid. French Caps on this LeBlanc is doing so much work to Iris Bounty Hunter as a very nice trade goes back the way of the Dorado Gaming mid laner. But Jericho's gonna be finishing up the clear on the bot side just as this wave is crashing, which makes Living Phoenix and Deadbotting have to pause a little bit. No real danger for the time being, but they are not doing too great in terms of map pressure.
Yeah, CS leads going to start to develop here. French Caps a little bit in the lead against Bounty Hunter on the Talia. Notorious for their difficult start to the game, but as they ramp up, they can start to really put on that pressure, going for the extra mana generation as well with the tier of the Goddess. And no double crab shenanigans here in this game. No first backs for either one of these teams. Both Biostir and Jericho is going to be able to take a scuttle crab for themselves, and maybe looking to go towards this dragon spawning in a minute, or those void grubs here in 2.
Yeah, I mean, Jericho's is going to be able to get back onto the map a little bit slower actually than Biostir, who is going to be going for that Raptor respawn again. So went for a similar path as they did last game. Started with the Raptors, as this is a really, really well played lane so far by French Caps. But I think critically about this path from Biostir, it means that they're going to be closer to the bot side once this dragon spawns in about 30 seconds time. And they have to make a choice whether they play for their topside camps on spawn, or if they contest Jericho's, who is going to be really hungry for these for this Shyvana passive, which of course gives her armor and MR for each dragon stack that she receives. But I mean, the rest of the map going pretty solidly. Rocket is farming fairly well into Inferno, only down about 5 CS though, with a wave under their tower. As Biostir gonna be late, but might be looking for a flash W potentially over the wall. Oh my goodness, yes, gets it.
That's so fast there from Biostir. Gonna pick up the pickaxe, going to put Talia back, going to have to use that teleport as the Ocean Drake spawns. and it was very, very aggressive coming in from the LiT jungler, who in game one also had a lot of presence in the early game.
Yeah, I mean, Bioster, I mean, again, had a lot of pressure on that Lilia, but was not really able to do too much with it. I think this mid matchup is so good for French Caps. They are playing it so well in isolation. And if they're able to start snowballing it, it is going to be really hard for Bounty Hunter to actually keep up with French Caps' pressure, because you can only react so often to the LeBlanc using distortion. Otherwise, you're just going to be taking, chunk after chunk from this LeBlanc to the point where she's just going to be able to eventually just RRW you if you ever get too close, as Grubb's going to be going down now for the side of LiT, as Rocket and Inferno doing a bit of trading up on the top side. But critically, Derrico's got to be able to pick up that first dragon of the game, and it will be that Ocean Dragon, which is going to be so nice for the likes of Bounty Hunter and Rocket.
And going to be that double Q from French Caps, just trying to get as much damage into Bounty Hunter as possible. As you talked about, Septi, Blue is going to take the Void Grubs here for LiT Esports. Bioster going to even out the neutral objective count. Shyvana, though, wants to go for those dragons and does pick that one up, as we are going to see a nice play coming in from New North, going to force Living Phoenix into having a big damage chunk going to be taken out. Does still have the flash available, does still have the ignite available, but a nice play coming in from Kiona and New North, who have a phenomenal damage output here at the start of this game.
Yeah, I mean, Dead Bottom can only press Q so many times before they are out of mana, and Kiona has an infinite number of auto attacks. I think New North might be looking, Biostar is here, so if Dorado Gaming go for this play, it'll be disastrous. But New North and Kiona, hold on.
We got a lot of damage going in onto Kiona. The exhaust is going to get used. Living Phoenix is going to be 1 HP. Going to get a lot of damage onto Dead Botting, though, as New North is going to try to finish it, make it a 2 for 2. Can't make it a 2 for 2, as Bioster will take the 600 gold and will now go 3-0 on the Viego.
Yeah, and that's just a case of Dorado Gaming just being not well prepared for a situation like that. They should have, at least had some idea of where Biostar's camps would be spawning. And if I'm Kiona's teammate, I'm instantly pinging the fact that there are 2 wards in inventory at the time of her death. And it is going to be not as nice. Biostar now going to get jumped on, though, by Derrico's. Very nicely well played. No ulti available for the Viego. Has nothing left to do but stand there and try and get some damage stats back. A nice invade coming out from the mid jungle, though, of Dorado.
A little bit of overconfidence from Bioster, going to send them back to the Shadow Realm. Does still have all of that gold from that double kill, and that one is a shutdown. Going to go into Derrico's pocket. Going back to the items here for Biostar, going to pick up that Blade of the Ruined King, going to also pick up some damage onto those Raptors, and we'll be able to get a little bit more out of that one. French Caps going to be able to get back using the distortion, but to take half of their HP in the process. Living Phoenix not yet level 6, and now we've got Derrico's in the dragon form. Biostar is there, and overconfidence from Dorado Gaming Alpha might result in LiT Esports getting some power here. Living Phoenix 1 HP. Biostar is going to get the soul reset onto the Shyvana, as New North is at 300. Gonna try to get a little bit of health back onto the Honeyfruit, but unable to do so. And now Bounty Hunter has got into a bad position themselves. Going to flash and give a triple kill over to Biostar. 6-1-0 on this Viego, and we're not even 10 minutes in.
Yeah, Biostar is so fed in this game now. Has the Bork finished before they even go for the base. That is oh my god, the number of problems that just happened there for Dorado Gaming are immense. The flash the wrong way from Bounty Hunter, the overcommitment onto Living Phoenix without realizing how fast Biostar was going to be back onto the map. And again, French Caps had such a nice roam back to help the play out. It was just catastrophe for Dorado Gaming, and really well played out by the side of LiT there. The only problem, and there is a problem, Moose, is that every single ounce of gold that has been generated from kills this game on the side of LiT Esports has gone on to the Viego. And so just like last game, it is going to be a Viego versus the world scenario, and now LiT have the cards to try and make it happen. Dead Botting did use the Requiem as well, but was not able to find anything. Did get an assist, though, onto Iris Bounty Hunter, who went down thanks to the help of French Caps and Biostar. But, yeah, no. Viego is sitting on a full Bork and a Caulfield's Warhammer and is looking very pretty to go for these second grubs here.
10:27 in the game. The gold lead is now up to 1.5k. And an aggressive push in the top lane will let Inferno be able to help them out as well. And that is going to be the Rift, or the Void Grubs, all getting taken by Biostir and LiT Esports. That Hunger of the Void buff can deal a good amount of siege damage. And Inferno also picking up that Demolish could be a threat in the side lanes because they've got that teleport. A little bit of a play though on a bounty hunter. Oh my god. Biostir on a rampage.
Yeah, this Viego's a little fed here. Dragon gonna be on the table. Mountain Dragon is gonna be so nice for the likes of LiT to be able to pick up here, as Derico is gonna try. Does not quite have the damage available to them yet. The Shyvana does max E first.
I held my breath here. LiT Esports does get the dragon. Hex gates will activate. That goes to you, Septi, once again, as New North wants this one. Gonna get the Magnus Storm on a Living Phoenix, but the Super Mega Death Rocket goes wide because of it. Kiona's gonna be able to get one. The reset is gonna be there for the extra attack speed, and that's gonna be 2 kills, 3 kills for Dorado Gaming. And I don't know if it was a bait. I don't know if it was a play. Dorado Gaming Alpha pick up so much, get another shutdown off of Biostir, and increase their kill count and narrow the gold lead back to 600.
Yeah, that's gonna be another bounty going the way of Derikos there, though. 2 out of their 3 kills have been shutdowns onto Biostir, and this Shyvana is sitting on a whopping 1,600 gold in inventory after such a short sequence on the map, and it's gonna be working towards what I believe is gonna be that Leandri's. As their second completed item does have the Shojin available to them, but we saw how much damage the Dragon Form E was doing in that team fight, and that is with a single amp tome on the side of Derikos there, as a lot of members now from LiT trying to contest this crab and keep a hold of that Dragon Pit pink ward. As Bounty Hunter and French Caps are dodging themselves into a corner. Critically though, no top laner has been involved in this game yet. Inferno and Rocket have just been trading damage back and forth, and at this point Rocket is probably gonna be looking to take advantage of the fact that Inferno has not really been able to make too much of an impact on the map. Does have 2 very powerful armor items at their disposal there in the Sunfire Cape and the Bramble Vest, as Deadbotting has not finished their first item yet. And look at the item differential and CS differential on this bot set, as Rocket now gonna go into Inferno.
That's the Cold of Fort Guide, and the Dominus getting dropped, and the tick away in health is going to force a flash off of the Renekton. Derikos wanting that one, but is going to be forced to go away from Biostir, who is the Mega Boss. Will be able to get that kill there, as Rocket going to go in for the knockup, and now we've got a fight in the river in 2 places. Super Mega Death Rocket not going to land. Double kill for Biostir, as they will get themselves their 10th kill of the game. I don't know if they're going to try to move forward any further. No, will not be able to do so. Bounty Hunter New North will be able to get out of this one. And so Dorado Gaming Alpha once again going to get bailed out and will increase the gold lead to a little under 1,500.
Yeah, LiT did such a nice job there. Biostir was able to use the Heartbreaker to follow Shyvana over the wall. Derikos, I think, ulted the wrong way. Probably had to go closer to Rocket to actually guarantee their safety there. So a nice follow from Biostir, was able to pick up not 1 but 2 kills, given the amount of damage this Shyvana has in inventory. And yeah, the goal that you were saying is 2,000 in favor of LiT Esports here. And they are going to be able to pick up these Heralds here alongside the 6 Grubs, which means that if they do ride this into a tower, it is going to be a whole bunch of Voidlings spawning. No rage bar yet on Derikos, which means that this play is not going to result in much unless there are extenuating circumstances. French Caps though is here. They should know that the mid laner is missing. Kiona gonna be walking in. Derikos, still no rage.
Play's gonna go down, but it's gonna be flash for flash, as Requiem is gonna drop. Biostir is gonna be on a killing spree once again, as they will be able to get their 11th kill of the game. And I don't know about you, but this is slightly concerning, Septi. I would think that LiT Esports would want to share the love a little bit for the rest of the members.
You would think. I mean, can we take a quick look at the gold graph, Caddy, if you got a sec? just because we got to take a look at this gold distribution on LiT Esports versus Dorado Gaming here, because there is a 2,000 gold lead in favor of Biostar over Derricos. But if you look at every single other matchup besides top lane, it is very close to even. It is going to be, honestly, that top lane gold difference is kind of massive, but I think that's mostly because that tower has gone down on the top side for Inferno. But this Renekton has been farming super well. Is 10 CS per minute, is 2,000 gold independent. That's incredible. This Renekton is 2,000 gold ahead of their opponent with 0-0-0 as a scoreline. I'm sorry, what? Inferno? Where was this last game? Anyway, not the point. If you look at the bot side, it's going to be 1,200 in favor of Kiona with 2 kills in inventory, or 2 kills in pocket rather. And I mean, there's a reason they're 3k gold up, but it is a lot closer, I feel, than people think, purely because the gold is so concentrated onto Biostar that if the Viego ever gets caught by, you know, either Talia E, oh my goodness, French caps.
A lot of damage on the bounty hunter. Doesn't have flash this time, and Biostar just says, I want it all. Will pick up their 12th kill of the game. Just continuing to add to the gold dominance on the Viego. Sundered Sty is completed. And now another neutral objective potentially going to get taken here. New North looking to potentially get Biostar out of this one. Not able to land it with the Magnet Storm, but Living Phoenix is going to be caught back into the fray as Derricos is going to be in Dragon Storm. That's going to be 2 kills for Dorado Gaming. Biostar is going to be unstoppable. We'll pick up another kill now, 13-0. Gonna try to go in on to the on anyone, and does end up getting another kill. And now we got an opportunity for Dorado Gaming Alpha to maybe get some cleanup here. Bounty Hunter will go for the Weaver's Wall and will take out French caps to add to Dorado Gaming's lead in damage and gold, or not gold, but just in general, as Biostar barely going to avoid that zap. LiT Esports will continue to hold on to the gold lead.
Yeah, and Biostar will continue to hold on to all the kills on their team. This is a little spooky now. 14 kills on the Viego, is sitting on 2 completed items in 17 minutes, but so is the Shyvana. Derricos is on, it has 9 fewer kills, but has the same number of items completed as Biostar. Granted, more components are in the Viego's inventory. So it is a bit of it's not as much parity as, you know, I'm making it out to be. But second dragon gonna go down for the side of LiT Esports here. It is gonna be the first hex dragon of the map, as it looks like the top jungle of Rocket and Derricos are gonna try super hard to knock down this top tower in trade for the objective, and I think it's totally fine. Inferno TP down towards the bot side to try and influence the dragon, and Dorado said, by all means, take your dragon. We will take the gold to try and catch up to this this 14-2 Viego.
Yeah, trying to get that third item as well, and isn't building a massive, you know, big 80 damage. Viego has some resistances, is going to be that bruiser, so might be a little concerned here if the game goes further on, but is looking to get a kill on a bounty hunter. Does not look like he's having a problem with damage though.
Oh,
and
what finally, is this? What is this?
Finally, kill secured for dead botting, actually, as they get their first of the game.
More like kill gifted by Biostar, because that Talia was dead for about 3 seconds before the Requiem went off. Just happened to let their AD carry get that one. And honestly, it's a little unfortunate because Deadbotting doesn't even have a Dark Seal. So despite the fact that they're playing this Karthus champion and they're able to press R as often as they are, they have no real way of you know, making use of the assists that can come from across the map. As it looks like Kiona, no flash though, might be jumped on by Biostar here.
New North going to try to protect him, going to be able to dodge that miss. Nicely done. It's French caps. Oh boy, going to be forcing out the barrier though, as the teleport's going to come in from Rocket. Living Phoenix is also going to drop the Nature's Grasp. A lot of things coming through, and no way to knock that up as Biostar's going to go godlike. Biostar going to be able to get the soul reset as Derricos going to be 1 HP. Double kill for this Shyvana now, as Dorado Gaming Alpha will lick their wounds, will back away. Kiona, though, survives. Oh, no! It's actually not the end! Bounty Hunter will go down, and Inferno will pick up only the second kill that doesn't go to BioStir, and LiT Esports will pick up their 19th of the game, 19-9. And finally, the love is getting spread to the rest of BioStir's team.
Yeah, I mean, you asked the question as, or I did. I asked the question as to if I missed something in the meta with this Viego 1 pick priority. But both Viegos have gone absolutely crazy in this series so far. 16 kills in BioStir's pocket, and Baron soon to be warned by the side of LiT Esports there. They are not even going to fool around there. Too low. Kiona. Oh my goodness, the damage from French caps. BioStir.
Oh no, BioStir taking away the Requiem, and that Dark Harvest stack will give the assist over to Dead Botting, as objective bounties will now be available for Dorado Gaming. I don't know if this is BM or just entertaining to watch, but that's an 18-2 Viego.
BioStir and Friends is the name of this team now. You can't tell me otherwise. BioStir was picking up all the kills last game too on the Lilia, and is now going to be sitting on 3 completed items. It's really critical that they're able to get this Wit's End before Derricos and Bounty Hunter are really able to finish their first, or rather their major AP items. So much so that this Viego is going to do so much damage and take so little from them. Kiona really the only one to be able to deal damage, and won't really even be able to. The Jinx opting for a double attack speed build is not going to be able to do those big numbers that we normally like to see out of our crit 80 carries. New North gonna find Living Phoenix here, as Inferno as well gonna try and pinch, as every single wave is pushed in by LiT. So Dorado trying to contest this vision so far up is completely not allowed, and LiT are going to capitalize on it if Dorado step too far forward.
Not able to close this game out yet, but that inner tower in the mid lane is on its last legs. Going to possibly go down here with another 90 seconds remaining on the purple buff for LiT Esports. Dragon's also spawning in 47 seconds. I don't think that Dorado Gaming have the money, have the power to take it.
Yeah, no, for the time being, I do not believe that they are allowed to even think about the dragon. It'll be the third for the side of LiT here. And I think Dorado have done a nice job holding them off. They haven't fallen for any of the fog bait that has gone on by LiT so far. Rocket far too tanky to have anything done to him by this LeBlanc. And critically, Ornn is level 14 now, so we will start seeing those ornaments available to the side of Dorado Gaming. I really don't know who's going to get the majority of them. I feel like Kiona would have to be the one to get the first one, but I'm not sure of the value of upgrading Kraken versus something like an Infinity Edge. So I need to look at there's a sheet out there somewhere that says the gold efficiency for each item in each role. And I need to find that sheet and study it, because the way that they change order items anyway, it doesn't matter. Rocket going to be trying to defend this bot tower by themselves, waiting now for New North and Kiona to join.
Baron buff going to be down in 8 seconds, as a tower will go down finally in the mid lane for LiT Esports to get something tower-wise, red objective-wise here on that Baron buff. Now expired. Inner tower is under siege as Rocket going to try to come through. Nature's Grasp is going to land, as well as the stun coming in. A lot of damage on a Rocket. A lot of damage on a Rocket, as Rocket will go down. Unable to get that knock up once again. BioStir unable to get a knock up there with the Ornn. Will go for the Heartbreaker to get out of the tank. And it is a 5v4 power play for Dorado Gaming as we move to the 24-minute mark.
Yeah, LiT gonna try, and doesn't have any Baron left available to them, so they will just be resetting now and spending the gold that they've earned. Now sitting 9,000 gold in the advantage here, as Derricos might be feeling bold enough to try and jump onto BioStir here.
Doesn't have Heartbreaker, but does have Flash available, and that's also going to be the Weaver's Wall. BioStir is the target. 700 gold bounty is the reward, as French Caps going to be giving a lot of damage over to Bounty Hunter, and that's the Iron Block of the Solari going to drop. BioStir now has the Flash away, going to try to be able to get out of this one. Will he be able to? The answer is yes! He's going to be able to take out Derricos, and the gold goes to New North on the Rel. I don't think that that's what they were looking for. Flash is going to get used by New North to try to be able to get out of this one, avoid giving more gold over to LiT Esports, but I don't know if they're going to be able to. Bounty Hunter could potentially try to teleport in, but is now in trouble. New North will die. So unfortunately, Septi, 1,000 gold going into the support's pocket.
They can't see it, but I have head and hands for the side of Dorado Gaming here. I thought that it was Troll, but I mean, they seem to have it together. They had the coordination there. They did, you know, it is, you know, mission accomplished. Technically, they got the bounty off of Viego and they closed the gap by 1,000 gold, but in doing so, they lost a couple members and cut back against that gold by about 600 or so. So, you know, not the most positive of plays, but, you know, you got the mental edge. You're able to take down the Viego. And 1,000 gold went on to your support, who is that much closer to finishing the Warmogs. So I mean, you have to look at the positives, right? At this point for Dorado Gaming, any gold is good gold. I mean, if it went out to Derricos or Bounty Hunter, I think you'd be much more happy, but you know, you can't help who the gold goes on in a situation like that. So we're just gonna have to look forward. Rocket now and Inferno gonna be scrapping just a bit here. Derricos almost has the rage available.
1, 0, and 4 on the Renekton. Want to just highlight that? You know, 26 minutes into this very scrappy game, yet to die, as Deadbotting is going to be targeted here. The teleports are not going to be coming through. Deadbotting is 1 HP, and Deadbotting will go down. Keona's going to be able to get that one, but it's a 1-for-1. The Requiem still available for this Karthus to finally get some big value out of this bottom lane champion. Get some Dark Harvest stacks, and with 4 members of Dorado Gaming dead, Baron Nashor is back on the menu for LiT Esports.
Yeah, it is going to go down fairly quickly for the side of LiT. They should be able to do the Baron with the Viego items, 4 items on this blue side jungler here. Shyvana did a nice job of clearing the mid wave, so no big macro advantage could get taken by the side of LiT. I'm curious as to why they wouldn't wait for Karthus to spawn there. It would have been an 8-second difference. Maybe they just wanted to. Maybe they just wanted a timer to get vision onto this top side. Not really sure, but nonetheless, they will get that vision and start pushing onto this top tower fairly quickly. But no, they will take the base because Dragon is spawning in about a minute's time, and I think they know that if they're able to knock down this third Hextech Dragon, they will be better off for it. The LeBlanc chains, the Karthus Qs, and even the Viego auto is doing so much damage with the sparking as well as the little slow that you get, and it is just going to be curtains for the side of Dorado Gaming.
Curtains indeed. A 12,000 gold advantage. That wallet is about as massive as we saw in game 1. As Bounty Hunter is going to be able to get a nice stun in onto that, as the Matter Storm is also going to come through as well. Keona is dealing a massive amount of damage, but it's not quite enough, and the rest of LiT Esports will be able to collapse in onto the Jinx. 4 members of Dorado Gaming Alpha are now dead. All 5 members alive. Dragon not needed. Baron buff is there. And a game number 3 is now on display here for the final week of the regular season. Septi, LiT Esports will even out this series.
What's amazing is I think for Dorado, that was the best fight they could have possibly dreamed of. You get the New North ulti into Derricos getting a 3-man ult as well. It looked so good, but once you saw the Sterix come in, once you saw French Caps on the side there, it was just completely cooked for the side of Dorado. And now we're going to go to a game 3, and LiT are going to try and take it to them.
And I think that they can do that. I mean, Bioster 24-3, the stat line speaks for themselves.
Do they now?
Yeah. I mean,
the Dragon stat certainly does.
The Dragon stat. Okay. Anyway, we won't talk about that. We won't talk about your ever expanding lead there, but I mean, Bioster was selfish with the kills. Took a lot of gold for themselves, but ultimately made it worth their while. 37,000 damage in this game. Definitely putting it on their backs. I would even argue a 1v9 performance from the Viego here in game 2.
Is it selfish if we still win in 28.5 minutes? Is that what we call selfish? Anyway, doesn't matter. I think
I don't know.
Bioster did a really nice job. This is the Bioster game. Anyway, did a nice job there, was able to knock it down. And honestly, I wonder if whoever's on red side just straight up bans Viego in the next game, which means that we will see something else. I'm not sure if I liked the Talia counter pick into LeBlanc. I don't think it worked the way that Dorado Gaming hoped it would. And it sort of leads me to believe that neither team really has made very good use of this R5, which, I mean, Dorado probably will swap back to blue here if I had to hazard a guess. But I mean, I don't know really what I'd change. Maybe just don't feed the Viego and the game goes a little better. Because I mean, that's all I can think of, right? I don't think there were any real defining, macro moments where I could be like, ah, yes, this is what you did wrong. It's just too many skirmishes too early on, and the Viego thrives in environments like that. And it all started, and I'm gonna say it all started with Kiona having 2 wards in inventory and the bot lane overextending and getting caught out by a great gank from the LiT jungler. That's how it started. That was what the snowball started with. The smallest grain of sand started the roll.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think that that's a valid thing to say. And this battle for the end of the regular season is definitely now heating up. LiT Esports did what needed to be done, and now we move into a game 3 situation where either one of these teams can take the series. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back for draft number 3 in just a bit. Welcome back, everybody, to the Aegis Marauders League. I don't know if we can call this series a barnstormer yet, but it certainly is entertaining as we move into game 3. Septi, you were calling out maybe the caster curse that I gave in the beginning of the series.
End up paying you? Is that what?
I think Septi, that I'm gonna put that on you for calling it out.
What? Calling you out for caster cursing it?
Yeah. I have to shift blame. I have to find a way to shift blame.
LiT paid you. My apologies.
It's part of the contract. Yeah,
you got to create the best content available for those that want to consume it.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about the Viego pick. I would assume that we're gonna see Dorado Gaming go back over to blue side.
They have confirmed to go back over to blue side.
Yeah, go back over to blue side with the power of it. Are we putting bets? Are we?
I don't know. I feel like LiT might be saying that that the Viego game 1 was a fluke. Because I think, to be honest, I don't know if Derikos played it as well as Biostar did. I think it was good. I don't think it was, incredible. I think it's more so lucked into the kills than, or not lucked into. That does a disservice. But I think the matchup was fine. I think the Lilia was totally a fine answer into it. I don't imagine it'll get banned. I like that Dorado Gaming are going back to what they were doing. LiT are gonna adopt the Ashe ban as opposed to game number 1. They did leave Leona up, but Dorado let the Viego through. Oh, LiT are thinking with their heads this game. Yeah, Viego and Braum. Okay, well, LiT are certainly on top of things going into game number 3. They want this reverse sweep. They really want to put a bit of an exclamation point on the end of their regular season. But let's not forget, Dorado Gaming still have a couple picks available to them. The Brand, the Lilia are both still available in the jungle and pair very nicely with Leona. I don't know how I feel about Xin Zhao. I feel like I'd only do that if I know for a fact that I'm going to pick an AP mid on this pick here. But Dorado Gaming know more than me at this moment.
And you talked about the power of the supports in game 1. We get to see 2 of those very high priority support picks here at the beginning of the draft with that Braum and the Leona. Xin Zhao, you made the comment that, maybe Dorado Gaming is looking to be going for an AP pick here in the mid lane. Talia is hovered, but it is Varus that gets locked in to secure the bottom lane pickups here for Dorado Gaming Alpha.
Varus could still be AP. I've been seeing some unholy AP Varus builds. Lucian might be the potential lock in here. I don't mind it. It is also technically a flex. If LiT want to do something crazy, no. I like this. I like this adaptation from LiT. If they do lock it in, yeah. Inferno did such a nice job on this Renekton. And I believe it got banned away in game number 1, if I'm not mistaken. So the fact that they were able to pick it up now, I think, had a very solid game against Rocket. And the Dorado top laner was not confident in picking something to win the lane. And so instead went neutral and lost their tower fairly early on. As now AP bans are going to come out from LiT, the Talia and the Kennen taken away. I really want to see Dorado Gaming ban the LeBlanc. I think that champion was too painful. And French Caps did too good of a job on it. And especially when you have, champions like Varus and Xin Zhao who are susceptible of getting bursted by a LeBlanc, when you already have, 3 massive champions that are going to be coming your way in the Viego, Braum, and Renekton. And, you cannot afford to have another champion diving on your head that requires your attention.
Yeah, and highlighting that again as the LeBlanc does get banned out. Talia, a known counter, being able to stun out the distortion if you're able to do so. And so, Biostar and the jungle play was definitely the highlight of that series. Definitely got to give French Caps some props again for really putting in that power against Dorado Gaming in game 2. Kaisa going to be the R4 pickup here for LiT Esports.
Yeah, I think I like this more than the Smolder, just because you do need a bit of that hybrid damage. to come out of this game, because currently if you lock in that smolder, you have 0 AP damage anywhere across the board for LiT. And so Kai'Sa, you know, has the opportunity to go for the hybrid AP build that we see a lot of the times with Nashor's Tooth and Static Shiv, and so you'll see that build probably this game. It is also very solid with the Braum next to them. Orianna gonna get locked in. This Dorado gaming draft is completely different from what we've seen from them in the previous 2 games. It is so standard, and it is, I'm going to use this word because I think this is how I describe it. It is very Korean, if that makes sense. It's slow and it's stable, and if you don't screw up the early game, you'll have a very good chance post 20 minutes. That requires you not to screw up the early game. And personally, I think I would have liked the Gnar more than the K'Sante, just because you get that little bit of extra split push pressure and a little bit more damage. But K'Sante will be the final lock-in for Dorado Gaming Alpha, leaving only the mid laner to get picked up by LiT. And they have no AP currently. And so if they lock in Lucian, it'll be a very easy game for Dorado Gaming to just build tabbies and have a good time. But I imagine they will pick something else, perhaps along the line of an Azir, maybe a Cassio. Oh, no, it'll be Ahri. Another champion.
Excuse me, Septi. You gave me shit last week. Pardon me. You gave me crap last week for calling it Ninja Tabbies instead of Plated Steel Caps. That's their dead name.
Did I?
Yeah, you sure did.
There's no way I gave you stick. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I apologize.
We'll roll the tape. We'll roll the tape. I'm just.
I still call them ninja. I flex back and forth between them. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It's
no
just,
worries. No worries.
You get to learn who the knowers are. You know.
no worries at all. But hey, you know, going back into the draft, you know, Ahri, like you said, that final pickup here, you know, no Talia, so that Spirit Rush not going to be super inhibited. And I want to bring it back over to Dorado Gaming's mid laner as well. Ball delivery systems in Leona, Xin Zhao, K'Sante, possibly.
I mean, this isn't the type of game where I think you really need a ball delivery, just because the fights are going to be a little bit chaotic, because just look at all the champions that are going to be dashing around in these fights. You got Xin Zhao, K'Sante, Leona on Dorado Gaming. Every single champion on LiT has a dash. So I think the priority has to be for Bounty Hunter to just, and Kiona rather, to focus on just, you know, keeping themselves safe and making sure that they, you know, use their abilities in the best way to peel themselves. So I don't think you're going to be looking for crazy shockwaves. I don't think you're going to be looking for crazy arrows. Or at least not together. I think you maybe do one or the other. You don't do both, because if you do both, then you're left defenseless for when the Renekton Braum Viego comes over the top and crashes down on your head. Because they are going to be difficult to kill. Just straight up. And unless you're, you know, 25-30 minutes of the game, have 2.5 items completed, maybe 3 items, they are going to take a while to kill. And so you're going to have to burn through them. You've got to hope to God that your Xin Zhao, Leona, K'Sante frontline can at least keep someone in front of them. But I'm a big fan of the drafts at Dorado. I like both these drafts, personally. I think they offer you a wide variety of play styles to get you through the game. I think K'Sante should be able to sustain in the side lane versus the likes of Renekton. Orianna can clear against Ahri. But both teams, again, team fight well. They do objectives quickly, so it has everything that you need. There are no curveballs.
For sure. And so I want to end this phase of the draft with one final question here, because you talked about the style for Dorado Gaming, and the style seems to have been similar in all 3 drafts, where they need to have a very stable, very well-defined, reserved early game, so that then they can scale up, get that damage in, and then really start to pop off in the mid to late game. We saw it successful in game 1, not successful at all in game 2. What was different between those 2 games? And then the follow-up to that is, how does Dorado Gaming accomplish that here in game 3?
I mean, Dorado Gaming has always had, every single team of Dorado Gaming has always had I'm not going to call it an issue, but has the propensity to fight for early skirmishes and try and win the game at 5 minutes. It was the case when I was there. It was the case when, it's been the case for a while, because a lot of the times Dorado has had the better players. I think in history, we have seen Dorado teams more often than not, in semifinals, in finals. And so they have an air of confidence about them that allows them to play in a manner that I won't call it flippy, but I will call it aggressive. And so when you have a composition like this that, you need to relax, it is going to be hard. And it's going to come down to Derricos and New North to really, be stable and not to overforce plays. You need to be smart about it, and you need to just make sure that it's pointed and guaranteed. Because if you start giving kills, like we saw last game, if you start giving kills to a Viego, a Kaisa, a Renekton, even an Ari, they can go crazy with even the smallest amount of a lead. And I mean, thinking about the mid lane, right? We saw French Caps, started to completely roll Iris Bounty Hunter with, I don't even think they had much of a lead, if any, earlier on, and that was with Iris Bounty Hunter having a counter pick. And so now that French Caps has their preferred matchup choice, I expect to see LiT have a whole bunch of prio in mid, as well as top. The only lane where they might not have as much pressure is going to be bot lane, but the Leona Braum matchup is such that Leona goes in to try and trade, Braum puts up the shield, and all of a sudden it's a 2v1 versus the Leona. So it's going to be, Dorado Kiwi is going to have very good trigger discipline going into this game, and LiT, I think the onus is on them to try and make plays happen.
For sure. I like that. I like the way you thought about that. Good analysis there. And we'll see.
Caster for a reason.
Yes, of course. Hey, I can give you props when it's due. And speaking of props, you've had a pretty phenomenal day so far in the Dragon Draft. It was a Hextech Soul for game 2, adding to your lead once again. But I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna stick to my guns.
Oh, we're doing this.
I want the Chemtech Soul. I want it, Septi.
All right, we're doing this. Infernal and Cloud.
Okay, all right. I'm sticking to my guns. Ocean and Mountain. I'm gonna give you the Hextech. There's no possible way.
Do you want Elder Dragon? Do you want the tiebreaker of if this game goes to an Elder? Yes or no? Think of it like an over/under bet.
Oh, over/under bet.
Think of it like an over/under bet, where if it goes to an Elder Soul, it cancels out the Dragon Soul.
Why not? What the heck?
So are you for the Elder, or is it not going to the Elder?
It's not going to the Elder.
All right. Yep.
All right. I'll keep that in mind as we get ourselves ready to jump into game 3. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to the end of this regular season here for both teams. They are now 1-1 as we move into this game 3. LiT Esports, Dorado Gaming Alpha, giving us a fine conclusion to the end of this part of the AML Summer 2024 season. And Septi, exciting game in store for us. I'm well assured it's going to happen.
Well, let's just, we gotta. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say we have to make note of the fact that French Caps got the mana flow buff first, but Iris Bounty Hunter evened it up as Biostar gonna get spotted very late on again. The jungler for LiT has been really enjoying going for these Raptor starts, and will be spotted out if they decide to go for it this game. And is going to be forced to do something a little bit different. Going to be starting the blue buff though. We'll be pathing towards the top side, and Derricos will be starting their respective blue and pathing down. And I really like this because your win condition is going to be keeping your bot lane safe and playing for your Leona and playing for the engage that your Leona provides. So I like the path coming out from Derricos. I could also be completely wrong. They could just say, screw it, I'm going to invade the Viego instead, and I would respect that too. But no, just some minor trading for the time being, and Inferno is already taking it to Rocket in the top side.
Yeah, it's not like it was in game 2. It's more game number 1. Rocket trying to assert some dominance there. Did go for the Dordan shield, Dordan's blade for Inferno, as they both also trying to go for that teleport. And so I do want to talk about that early game here for Cassante versus Renekton. Oh boy, French Cap's almost making me have to talk about that. But no, I want to go back up to top side. I want to talk about this Inferno Rocket matchup. It's been exciting all season long, or all series long. And how do you think it's going to play out?
I mean, it should just be a whole lot of nothing, to be honest, until level 6 is hit. I think Rocket should be fine in this lane. Oh my goodness. This is a lot worse for Bounty Hunter just because they have no potions available to them. But anyway, no, this Cassante champion should be pretty safe into Renekton for most of this lane. But especially considering that they have the bone plating. So, the big major trades coming from Inferno shouldn't be too impactful, I say, as, Rocket is getting all into your by Inferno, and the damage will be massive. Does have a biscuit available to them. As Bounty Hunter going to be staying under this tower, very low on HP. We saw what happened last time, but Biostar not going to go for the flash over the wall this time, but will instead now look to walk into the top side potentially. No, just going to go for the crab instead.
As Zhao, a little bit late to the full clear party, did finally complete those Krugs, but Scuttle Crab on the top side is already taken by Biostar. So Derricos a little bit behind on the ball, but we are going to get a dive here potentially, as it is going to be an opportunity here for LiT Esports to get a kill, but nicely defended by Rocket. I'd say the power of that Doran shield coming in to start off the game.
Yeah, all with a biscuit still in inventory, and I think Biostar has to be thanking Rocket just a little bit for not letting them auto attack, because that tower had built up 3 shots in the time they started that dive, and so if the red buff had been ticking, the tower would have absolutely massacred the LiT jungler there, but it was not to be, as both mid laners now are back and have used their respective teleports to get back into the lane, and both have understood the message of the day, and that is there's going to be a lot of trading considering those refillable potions picked up by each team's mid laner. And a key ward on the bot side jungle of LiT Esports from, I believe it was Derricos, is going to spot Biostar trying to potentially look for a play onto the bot side. And I think credit has to go to Dorado here. I think we would have seen most likely a crazy play happen in most games, and they're holding it down and limiting it to trading down to 10 HP. So good job.
Good job indeed. It's still a brawl. It is still a brawl. We've seen a lot of damage already dropped off in the top lane and in the mid lane. Aside from the refillable potions that both Bounty Hunter and French Caps pulled up French Caps is going to go for the Amplifying Tome, going to have a little bit extra more AP in the fight comparatively. Bounty Hunter going for that Tear of the Goddess, I think standard, but we'll see if that Amplifying Tome comes into play here, as it is going to be a potential play on to Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter wants this and now knows that Biostar is there, going to get stunned by the W, and will force out the flash of the Viego in response for that shockwave getting dropped in. So I think nicely defended there, and nicely played by all members involved.
Yeah, I mean, level 6 hit by Bounty Hunter mid-fight is really nice. French Cap also hit 6 towards the tail end of that engagement, but was not healthy enough to follow up the trade, especially considering that there was support there for IRS Bounty Hunter. And looks like we are going to be trading these neutral objectives. Grub's going to be going the way of LiT Esports, and the Dragon going the way of Dorado. And honestly, I think this is what both teams would prefer. I think they'd prefer the split this way. LiT definitely have a lot more side lane pressure, and so the Grubs will be very good for them. The only problem is that I think Dorado would prefer if they could deny some Grubs from LiT, but given the solo lanes that they have at their disposal, it doesn't really seem to be viable unless they were to move their bot lane out of bot to contest the next spawn of Grubs in 3.5 minutes time. But again, if all they're caring about is making sure that they get to 20 minutes safe and they have a couple of dragons under their belt so that the scaling can continue, I don't anticipate we'll be seeing much movement out of the Dorado squad.
Brilliant. Biostar going to see that there was a potential peek into their side of the jungle. Pings are going to be coming out as both junglers now back on the Rift. A slight CS advantage for the Viego here, as they were able to pick up those Grubs, and it is going to be the all-out from Rocket. Flash and dominance used by Inferno at the last possible moment to be able to get out of this one. Is going to go for that big minion wave and gets a significant portion of it, but is now going to go in, wants to make it a 1-for-1. No, he gets the 400, doesn't know how close he was to death, and now might have overextended. Crescent Guard's going to get used. Derricos will clean it up, and it will continue to be a 1-for-1 in the play. Dorado Gaming, though, going to give up first blood to LiT Esports.
God, Derricos was there, because that was a massive blunder from Rocket. Took tower shots for no reason in a matchup, or sorry, in a trade that they were winning so heavily, and could have just easily, dropped the ulti, played for the engage, once Derricos had come around the wall. But no, Inferno did such a nice job. Had the rage built up, had the dominance. I think they even had some Conqueror stacks still available to them. So by the time they actually started hitting Rocket, they were getting the true damage and the healing out of it. And I mean, I said the first trades were going to happen on that top side once the level 6 marker hit, and by God did they. It looked like Rocket was, doing a nice job in the trade. They, were able to burn Inferno's flash, really early on. And now, I mean, the gold is still relatively even, about 200 in favor, of Inferno. And the map now calms down a little bit more, as Dorado Gaming currently up about 600 gold.
Yeah, items also going to get completed. The plated steel caps maybe coming through here for Rocket. The Lost Chapter, second item for Bounty Hunter, as both teams eye to get those first items, but with so little gold because of all the kills not really happening here, there is still an opportunity for some big fights as we move into the 10-minute mark, and the opportunity for some plays to come in. 2 minutes remaining until the Cloud Drake spawns. And like you were saying, Dorado Gaming Alpha, I think that would be a prize they would be liking to have, but could threaten LiT Esports being able to get that 6 Void Grub buff once again.
Yeah, I mean, now is the type of game where you really need to look. You were saying before, since there are not many kills on the map, since there's not much gold being shared around, now is the game where you really have to start looking at the CS numbers to see where the advantage is. And currently, I see a free 26 CS lead in the mid lane. French Caps is not having a fun time farming this game. Granted, Iris Bounty Hunter, to their credit, has that passive available to them on the Orianna, the winding clockwork, I want to say is what it's called, as Rocket sees Biostar on the map and is still trading with Inferno nonetheless. But
All out is
here.
available. It is going to be a 2v2 as now Bounty Hunter is going to get in trouble, going to get hit by the crushing blows. Going to go for a nice shockwave, but it will end up being 1-for-1 as Biostar goes down. It may get a 2-for-1, make it a 2-for-2. Top and jungle for LiT go down. Comparatively, mid and top go down for Dorado Gaming, and this brawl continues. And as you predicted, Septi, it was the support from Dorado Gaming Alpha coming up and providing that assistance.
Yeah, I mean, sure, the kills are even, but Dorado Gaming do not want to be introducing gold into this game. They were completely comfortable just scaling as TP's coming in now from the top laners. No ultis on either of them, but the health bars from Dorado are slightly low, and the damage onto Derrickos.
Derrickos gonna have that Crescent Guard, going to be able to get out of it, but the two Void Grubs are still there. LiT can get the Hunger of the Void Buff with 5. Nice stun on a Bounty Hunter. They're gonna get charmed and will be the sacrificial lamb. Kiona and Dead Botting make it a 1-for-1. And French Caps will take the kill against Derrickos to make it a 3-for-1 play in favor of LiT Esports.
Dorado Gaming were doing such a good job this game. And now LiT have done exactly what they need to do to put themselves in the driver's seat of this game. Gold lead now swung in their favor by 500 gold. The French Caps has been absolutely saved this game by the last sequence of events. Was down 20 CS, is now only down about 13, and has 2 kills to their credit. Is straight back even on gold, has boots to boot. And they are even able to get, you know, a majority of the grubs. I think there's only maybe 1 or 2 still available on the map at all. As I think Biostar is going to leave one, is not able to grab them all, as Dragon is going to be spawning on the map. And Moose, I don't want to alarm you, but I am currently set up potentially for a Dragon sweep this game. Just to say it, I probably won't get it, considering, you know, you have 3-to-1 odds on this soul now. But, you know, we'll find out.
See what it is, and it's the ocean. Let's go, as we are gonna get a fight. Oh my god, that was a huge stun coming in from Bounty Hunter there, or from Nowhere there with that solar flare. But Dead Budding, Living Phoenix gonna be able to flash away and will survive, but it's not enough. They overstay, and Derrickos and Bounty Hunter will each take 1. French Caps will use the Spirit Rush to be able to come out and get away from that exchange, but that evens out the kills.
All right, the wheels have come off. The train is off course now for both teams. We are in for a banger, as Biostar is going to try very hard to get out of this game. Derrickos, with the completed Eclipse, is going to miss. The wind becomes lightning, so the Viega will live to tell the story another day. I mean, yeah. 2 dragons in favor of Dorado Gaming currently. One grub to 4, and the gold lead now back in their favor as the fighting is going to continue. But again, hold on, Blighting Arrow still available for Kiona.
Ooh, and because Lightning gonna get dodged. No flash available for Biostar. No Spirit Rush for French Caps, so they will back away. They will let the play go. They will avoid having that tower going down, but in the meantime, Bounty Hunter will be able to pick up their second turret plate in the mid lane. Because the gold is so even, because the kills are even, you know, 2 plates down in the mid lane for both teams, 1 plate down in the top lane for LiT, and I believe 3 down for Dorado Gaming against LiT in the bottom lane. As we can take a look at the gold distribution, because I think that that's going to tell a really big tale here, Caddy. Let's take a look at the gold. Let's see where we're at right now. Wow.
I mean, it's a close game. It's 800 gold, 900 gold between them. And a lot of it is going to be sitting on the top side in Inferno, just because this Renekton has had such a massive impact on this game. Looking at the gold in mid, though, 2 kills the way of French Caps is completely negated by the fact that, you know, Bounty Hunter has just been farming that much better than the Ahri this game. And now, I mean, trading more on the top side, Rocket has a finished Thornmail, so not really too worried about the damage coming up from Inferno or Biostar, to be honest. So this game, again, I'm not sure if I like the spot for Dorado. I think the spot is great for the side of LiT. They're going to be able to get this Herald, and that should allow them to take it mid lane and knock down that tower and really start opening the map up for their team. Contrarily, though, first tower going to go the way of Kiona and New North on that bot side, so the tower gold or the bonus rather, going their way, but the map pressure will be absolutely opened up here by this mid tower going down, and the amount of pick available to this LiT squad is going to allow them. Hold on, Jericho's got caught by the charm there, going to get chunked out, and the Spirit Rush will be used, but no more will come of that. But now, I said Dorado was in the driver's seat before when they got a little bit of a favorable trade before, but LiT for sure now have the map available to them. They already have some decent vision setup for that Herald on the top side, and I want to see them transition it into taking control of the spot side so they can really make use of the advantage that they have.
Yeah, also want to shout out, and I want to shout out Kiona, who is well above the 10 CS per minute mark here for the time being. Bounty Hunter gonna have to drop the shockwave, but a great proc of that Heartstealer from Biostir will confirm that a Bounty Hunter goes down 1, 3, and 1 on the Orianna, very close to getting that Seraph's Embrace. But with that kill going over to LiT Esports side, they will take the gold lead back to just 600 in favor of Dorado Gaming Alpha.
Critically though, I don't know if Iris Bounty Hunter will be able to have that item stacked before this dragon, or if it'll be stacked in the middle of the fight. It will be incredibly close for Dorado's mid laner here. Should also have the ulti available by the time that this dragon spawns, so no real worry about that. Biostir though will not have the Heartbreaker available, or at least the independent Heartbreaker. Will obviously get the reset if they pick up a soul, but will not have it available to them to close the gap or immune any CC in their home body, as it were. But dragon going to be spawning in 22 seconds time. I don't know if Dorado feel like they need to fight this. I don't think they should if they are in a bad spot, but a whole bunch of battle lines being formed on the bot side, and French Caps is on the prowl for a flank.
River Control going to go to the side of Dorado Gaming. They're going to clear out some of that vision in the river by LiT Esports, as both top laners looking to maybe chunk out a little bit of damage, a little bit of health against their opponent before the teleports could potentially come in. However, those extra bushes on the rift here for LiT Esports are going to be able to get them onto the bottom side of the river and the start on to the dragon. New North going to be seen by that vision as the dragon is getting perilously low. A lot of damage coming in from LiT Esports already, and now it's going to be the teleport into the steal from Jericho. The fight is now in. Great solar flare onto Dead Budding and to stun them out, but they're able to get behind their protection as Inferno going to try to come through and will be able to take one against Jericho's and will go down to give that shutdown to Kiona, who is still alive. It is a 4v3 as Rocket teleported in late in that fight. Rocket able to get out. Dead Budding does not get out though. That's going to be a double kill, and now French Caps, 1 HP remaining, will die to the rain of arrows, and Kiona will pick up a triple kill.
Dorado Gaming pick up everything they wanted to in that fight. They get the dragon, they get the fight win, and they are absolutely taking control of this game. I said about 20 minutes was going to be the time for them to really start coming into their own there, but with the introduction of so many kills earlier on in the game that allowed them to accelerate to just the right moment to win this dragon fight. And Inferno and Rocket were trying so hard to stop each other from joining that fight, but Rocket had such an incredible impact there. Once they saw Inferno dive in their back lane, they realized my job now is purely to stall the damage dealers of French Caps and Dead Botting from doing anything to my carries while their top laner is dealing with them. I'm not worried about Inferno. My carries can deal with it, and honestly was able to carry the complete fight there using the not yielding, as it were, to the trio of LiT. And now, again, moving on to Soul Point, Dorado Gaming are looking very happy. I think they were even considering, dropping Dragon for the mid tower there, or at least Bounty Hunter was. And now, with Soul spawning in 3.5 minutes time, this is going to be an incredibly early Soul for Dorado Gaming as Dead Bounty Hunter. You have Flash.
Yeah, going to use it. Gonna get a decent chunk of damage in to Inferno as they were put in under tower. Meanwhile, the rest of Dorado Gaming will pick up that mid-tier 1 tower, so that objective is completed. Zenith Blade unable to follow through as Biostir was able to get that blast gun to be able to walk out, and the Solar Flare did not land. But Dorado Gaming Alpha now have the opportunity to get some of the buffs taken away from LiT Esports as Baron just spawned. They will get the red buff. They will ward Baron, and they will try to continue to have I would say, a pretty successful macro play as we move into the Baron phase.
Yeah, I will say the book is starting to close slightly on LiT Esports here, as they are gonna be outscaled a little bit by the time they get back into it. I will say though, for the next 5 to 10 minutes or so, they maybe not 10 minutes, but for the next 5 to 7 minutes or so, they still do have a very, very good team fight available to them. 2K, the goalie, currently for the side of Dorado Gaming, but the amount of CC and the amount of pick available to LiT should not disqualify them from making a comeback in this game. And for those of you from Titan joining us real quick, we are in game number 3 of the final week rather of regular season for the Aegis Marauders League, our Masters division here at Aegis. We have currently Dorado Gaming on the blue side, and we have LiT Esports on the red. And now, Inferno, you are trying to defend this tower, and you might not be able to do it because Rocket is far too imposing.
Going to be the ward showing that Net North is there. Bioster is coming in, as well as Dead Botting. Bounty Hunter is a couple moments away as Darago's going to get hit by that Void Seeker, but it's not going to be enough for them to launch that Killer Instinct. So everyone is going to be able to back off. French Cap still has a teleport available, as LiT is going to try to regain control of their side of the top lane. Not going to go further out. Instead, waiting to see if anyone followed through. Not going to happen.
No, it is not, but they do get the tower play in the end, so not the end of the world. To be honest, French Caps just got a little bit of solo XP on that top side, as Rocket is going to try and keep the pressure up on that top side. Dragon spawning in 50 seconds, and Rocket has a fair amount of gold in inventory, will be fully spotted here going for a base. So the side of LiT will know that the top laner for Dorado will not be able to provide map pressure for the next 40 seconds. And honestly, once Inferno clears this wave, should be able to just walk for free down to this dragon, knowing that Rocket is off the map.
And it would be that Ocean Soul. The power of that regen in combat could be the difference between members of Dorado Gaming Alpha dying or not. So I would say a must-play situation here for LiT Esports. If they're able to win this one, I think the game continues. But if Dorado Gaming is able to secure this one, they are in a very good position to be able to win out this game and this series. Biostar going to get a lot of damage out of Derrick. The Crescent Guard is going to come through. Newer going to try to get in. Going to land the Solar Threat, but it's actually going to miss. Rocket's going to go down. Dorado Gaming Alpha are separated, and LiT Esports are not going to have a good start to this one, but they might have a good end to it, as a triple kill gets taken there by Kiona, who does end up going down. It does end up going in the way of LiT Esports, but not before Dorado Gaming put in a lot of effort into their backline. But at the end of the day, LiT Esports get a quadruple on French Caps, and they stop the Ocean Soul.
Yeah, we talked about the amount of pick available to the side of LiT here. Dorado Gaming were just not together. They were not prepared to fight at that instant, and it was just such a nice usage of CC to knock down Derrickos at the start of the fight. Rocket as well, I believe, took so much magic damage from Kaisa and from French Caps that there was not a single thing they could do about it. I don't think they even were able to press the ulti, the all out, because they were just locked down forever. Similar to Iroh's Bounty Hunter, not able to use the shockwave in that entire fight is definitely going to be the difference between winning the fight and getting soul, and losing and stalling out for, you know, a few minutes more. Granted, you know, it was just a dragon and a couple kills going the way, but it was a few shutdowns maybe, as well as, you know, a whole loss in overall tempo, as Dorado Gaming, they do not want to stop here. They want to run back.
Okay, Living Phoenix is going to be taking a lot of damage. That's a Solar Flare that lands. Huge damage onto Dead Botting, who goes down and gives a double kill to Kiona on the Varus. Remember, French Caps got a quadruple in that last fight, but Kiona got a triple kill as well. And now Dorado Gaming looking to go for Baron.
Yeah, just an overextension there from LiT and a very nice catch from Dorado. And I don't think they really need to be pulling off this far away, but Shockwave going to come out, going to catch the Viego as, oh my God, the all out is going to take Inferno so far away. And it is going to be another 2-for-0 for the side of Dorado Gaming. And that should secure them the Baron. And hopefully their first winning condition of this game. You were thinking that it was going to be the Dragon initially, but no, this Baron will be the first of the bells to toll for LiT, as it were.
Yeah, Dorado Gaming Alpha now very securely in position of this to win this game. 4,000 gold lead, 3 items on their Varus, and continuing to have dominant pressure here in this game. No AP Varus here, but Kiona 9, 2, and 5 on this AD roll, having a great game. Going to be contested by French Cap 6, 1, and 3 on this Ari, trying to keep up.
Now, we need to talk about this because it was been the theme of the first 2 games, and that is Viego. And hold on, actually, as Living Phoenix, it's going to use the Unbreakable, does have the jump, should be fine. Solar Flare going to come down from New North.
They're going to be half HP.
Not too much damage. I think Shockwave might have been actually able to take down Living Phoenix there. And I mean, you have Baron buff, so I think setting up a 45 would have been worth it, but it doesn't matter. Rocket gonna get a nice chunk as Kiona sends the ulti wide onto Dead Body. Flash Shockwave.
And there it is. Bioster is going to go in on to Rocket, who does not have all out available, but is going to be able to flash away. So that play does not go into LiT's favor. And the rest of their base is now under siege. Inhibitor Tower will go down, and now LiT Esports are going to try to be able to defend this one in a 5v5 situation. Derico is going to land the audacious charge under French Cap. He's going to get hit by the charm, and that's going to mean that Derico goes down. Bioster is going to be able to get the reset, as Networth is going to go in on French Cap, but not able to die. French Cap survives its play, and 3 members of Dorado Gaming Alpha will go down, make it 4 members of Dorado Gaming as Bounty Hunter falls. And it's disaster once again for Dorado Gaming Alpha, as a LiT Esports now have huge time to potentially take this game back.
Yeah, they might be going for the end here. I think they realize that this is their opportunity to do it. They have a whole bunch of damage on these towers. They have a lot of HP. The only person to go through is going to be Rocket. It's going to be 14 seconds on Derico, 17 seconds on Kiona. How much time can Rocket stall for here? Does not have the Pathmaker anymore. These towers are not going down fast enough, and the HP bars from LiT are not healthy enough. I think they're just going to try and trade the inhib and walk away now, as Rocket should be able to slow chase this. Has teleport available on IRS Bounty Hunter. As the pings are going down on towards behind them, Rocket is going to try and keep them in vision for the time being.
Teleport going to come in, and it looks like it was seen. Blue pings over into the mid lane, as all of Dorado Gaming Alpha are now running onto the top side of the rift, and a ward that they know they control. And so now they're looking to be able to back here, and they will be able to do so. But Dorado Gaming Alpha are refreshed and back on the Rift first. They have no wards in hand, only 2 Oracle lenses available to clear out some of the vision that's in the top side of the Rift. But they are going to be able to get those buffs. They are going to be able to have first play onto the Dragon Pit, and maybe looking to end this game, or at least get the Ocean Soul as we move into this next pivotal part of this game.
Yeah, the soul is coming up in 50 seconds time, but LiT, I think they realize that they just need to try and make their own play and pull Dorado into a favorable position. The straight up 5v5 has not been working, as Cassante.
Rocket's gonna come through. Solar Flare to Shockwave. Massive play from Marauder and New. They're gonna get a double kill for Rocket. Make it 3 kills for Dorado Gaming Alpha. Huge moment from the Oriana Leona to get 3 members of LiT Esports down, and now they are going towards the Nexus.
Yeah, and they have enough of a wave. Teleport now going to come down from French Caps. They are going to try and end it here. TP as well coming in from Inferno. I don't know if Cassante will be able to stop it. Will not. Inferno half HP though. French Caps as well, but the minions, they are going down as the reaction not able to do much. The first tower going to go down for Dorado Gaming. The second one as well. New North going to go in onto Ari to try and put a capper on this game. Dorado Gaming trying to go undefeated now.
And it looks like they'll be able to. Dorado Gaming Alpha will win this series. A phenomenal game from both sides. But at the end of the day, that final team fight will seal the deal. and Dorado Gaming Alpha will remain undefeated in the Void division. It does have a few hiccups, couple of losses in those series, but the series win will result in them securing not only that undefeated part, but the top spot in the Void division come playoffs.
Yeah, no, they are going to be moving into that top group when it comes to the qualifiers. I believe it is like a short round robin rather, of the first seeds to decide who is the true first seed. Yeah, no, Dorado Gaming looked really good in this last game. I mean, they were calm, cool, and collected for as long as they needed to be, and once the wheels fell off, they really started to charge, and just kept going headfirst. I mean, credit has to go to LiT as well for a bit, because they were able to find a couple picks that were able to get them back into the game, and I think they had a chance potentially to go for an end there, or they could have found a more favorable situation once they had that timer available to them in the mid lane there at the end. But Dorado Gaming did a nice job. They realized that they needed to stop fighting things individually. They needed to actually play together as a group, and really make things happen as a team. And yeah, look at the gold grab, look at the little dips again. Moose, how many times have we talked about the content throwing? I see 1, 2, 3, a third little one, 4, 5. I see 5 content dips for Dorado.
We gotta,
that's what we should coin them. That's what we should call them.
Content dips. I love it. I love it. I love it indeed. And it was a great showing from both teams. And I think the last point that we want to talk about was the Golden Boy Viego, the first pick from both teams. Viego just not having that same prowess, that same performance here in game 3.
Yeah, I mean, we saw shades of it at the end there. There was a fight around, the fight that LiT tried to end the game off of. We saw shades of Biostard, being able to pick up a few souls and do work, but it just wasn't enough. The pressure did not come early enough. And I think the credit has to go to Dorado for, really holding it down and playing safe. Rocket, had the little whoopsie on the top side, but I think that's the only blemish on, their initial game plan going in, which was to let Kiona do their thing and try and play for the scaling carries that you have. And it wasn't a perfect game. There are definitely things to learn from it, but I think Dorado can come away happy. They executed their game plan, and not only that, but they put on a banger of a game 3 to end the regular season.
Definitely couldn't agree more. What a nice cap to the end of the regular season. Let's confirm if we're gonna go ahead and take an interview here today. Yeah, we're gonna see if we can get an interview from the Dorado Gaming squad. So don't go anywhere, folks. We will be back in just a moment after we get that set up. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to the end of this week of Aegis Marauders League. We've got Kiona, the AD, the bottom lane for Dorado Gaming Alpha, joining us today for a post-game interview. Welcome and congratulations on the win.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so big win for you guys. You know, you continue your dominance in the Void division. You know, having to go up against the second seed, having to go up against LiT Esports. Moving into today's games, was there a pause for concern? Were you potentially worried that the series was going to be as competitive as it's going to be, or were you confident that you guys were going to pull it out?
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit disappointed that we dropped the game, but I think that also speaks volume as to how confident we were. We thought we were just gonna 2-0 them, and you know, their ADC is pretty infamous apparently. So okay, so I actually like to talk shit, but Zol doesn't want me to, so he like doesn't want me typing in AML general and everything like that, so I don't really keep up with stuff. But yeah, apparently their ADC was Emerald 4 negative win rate, and I was like, yeah, there's no way we lose. This guy only plays like AP champions because the APM, the micro's not there, you know, so I was pretty confident we were just gonna fist him.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, the bot lanes were, you know, pretty exciting. I think the card this, you know, I was surprised that they didn't take teleports, whatever, but we could talk about that another time. But yeah, take me through sort of how you guys went through this series. You guys said you were overconfident, you think, going into it. I think that game one, you know, could have fed into that a little bit. I think you guys did a really nice job. But, you know, leaving that game two, was there any, because going from game 2 to game 3, your draft style shifted massively. You went from, you know, a skirmish early, you know, skirmish all the time comp to, you know, let's just play this slow and controlled. Would you say that's something you guys did to force yourself to focus, or do you think that that was just the best comp for the time?
Sorry, are you referring to game 2 to game 3?
Yeah, game 2 to game 3, because, well, for the first 2 games, you guys were more sort of like a skirmish heavy comp, versus game 3, you really put the brakes on and sort of played for the scaling.
I actually kind of disagree. So the problem with game 2 was we picked kind of like pretty slow champions, and I don't mean like literally because Shyvana clears pretty fast, but you know, she can't really like 2v2 and stuff, especially early game, not against Viego LeBlanc. So we were kind of like fist fighting early with like champions that weren't super great. So going into game 3, we decided that we still wanted to fight. Maybe they didn't want to fight as much because at least that's how we felt. You know, they were playing super safe. That botting was AFK under his tower, which is understandable when you're playing against me. But my point is, you know, I think we changed up the champions, but not really the play style. I think they just play safer, actually.
Fair enough. I mean, Moose might come back to the series a bit, but I want to ask you about your playoff aspirations. You guys come out of the group undefeated match-wise, only dropping 2 games overall, 1 to Novasphere Omega, and then 1 again tonight to LiT. Have you guys looked at all across the league? Are you worried about any? Have you seen any of the other first seeds potentially that you're excited to go against? Is there anyone that you are particularly worried to play against? What's your guys' thoughts going into playoffs?
We're not specifically worried about anyone, but I'm not gonna lie. There is a wait. Are we allowed to talk about like other leagues or no?
I mean, if you want, if it's pertinent to the question, go for it.
I don't actually know how playoffs is gonna go because in Titan Immortal we're kind of getting blasted, but that could also just be because like Thursday just happens to be our off day. But no, like we've been teams here that we lost them in Titan, so I don't really know how like playoffs gonna go. But I just know that if we all play, like my team's like 1v9 by the way, like every player is good. I think we just have to play well and stop being suspicious, and then we should just beat everyone. I am looking forward to playing against Mario Kart. I think they rebranded it's like something else now, but I look forward to playing against them again. We had a not very great defeat against them last time, so hopefully you can bring it back.
Sounds good. And I mean, like you said, it sounds like you're pretty involved in a lot of the other leagues at this level this season. Is that correct?
Sort of. I kind of just actually came back to amateur recently. I didn't play for a long time. I watched Worlds. I was like, wow, I want to play like ruler, so I decided to try to play amateur again. And yeah, it's been pretty fun. But now I guess I am pretty involved. I'm playing in Titan and AML both. And yeah, it's just really fun playing with Dorado.
Awesome. Yeah. So I want to bring it back to your personal stats here in the league. You've only had to play against other Void Division teams, so we'll see how it develops as we move into the qualifiers and then ultimately the playoffs. But you came into this season or this game very high in, kills per game, gold per minute, CS per minute, overall rating, and we really got to see all of that prowess on 3 different champions in today's game. Do you attribute that to your consistency as a player, your experience, your long timeness of the game, or is there something else that is giving you that edge?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm like the opposite of consistent. I am probably the most feast or famine ADC, or one of the most feast or famine ADCs you'll ever see. I think my team bails me out a lot. There's definitely games where I just die level 1, die level 2, die level 3, die level 4, stuff like that. But I do think I have a pretty decent champion pool, and I think I'm not scared to take that step forward, whereas a lot of other ADCs would be, if that makes sense. Like, sometimes I'll like start the fight with my life and bait the enemy team. I think it's completely fine sometimes to do. And sometimes, it's not completely fine to do, but I still do it anyways, and we lose. It happens. Unlucky. But I think my point is, I'm not really scared, if that makes sense. I'm always willing to go for stuff.
Fair. I like it. I like the answer. And you definitely had some moments, game 1, flash forward, goes for the potential pentakill, goes for some really impactful enchanted crystal arrows. And it overall, I think, showed your willingness to go for those risks and play to win. So, definitely makes sense there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I flashed forward, I was hoping like I could just like mind control him into like walking back to me and giving him the penta, but he's not that low elo. Emerald 4 is, I guess, still top 10%. So props to him for not walking back into me and dying.
Gotcha. We're gonna let you go, Kiana. Before we do, any final shout outs, any final words before we do?
Shout out to Dorado. They've been good to me. Zol's suspect sometimes, but it's fine. He pays for like this stuff, so it's fine. Yeah, Dorado is nice. Awesome. Shout out to my team Alpha and Zai, actually Zai, our sister team.
Perfect. Love to hear it. Well, hey, thank you so much for stopping by. Congratulations on the win and best of luck as we move into the postseason.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty, folks, that is going to do it today for the Aegis Marauders League, and that's going to do it for the regular season, but there is a lot of content still available for display here at Aegis Esports as we continue the summer 2024 season. What have we got going on for the rest of the week, Septi?
For display, wow. But anyway, yeah, if you guys are interested in more Aegis content, as always, we have the ADL on Mondays. Yesterday was Flash Syndicates versus Iridescent Dawn Avengers. It was a good series if you want to go watch it. Obviously, Tuesdays we got the AML. On Thursdays we have the AEL, which is our Diamond Emerald League, and that will be a matchup of the regular season of Optimal Esports Dynasty versus TRV Foxhound, and then we got APL on Friday, and that's going to be Clown Gaming Crab Wranglers versus Dorado Gaming Rose, so another Dorado team to go show out for if you guys are at all interested in that. But yeah, like Moose said, this is going to be the end of our regular season here at AML. We have qualifiers starting next week, which is going to be a way for our teams to, as it sounds, qualify for the playoffs. We are going to be dropping, I believe, our bottom team, if not our bottom 2 teams from each group. So keep an eye on the standings tomorrow as those come in. But yeah, Moose, I appreciate the cast tonight.
Yeah, it was very fun for sure. Loved every moment of it. Very exciting series. And shout out to all of you guys for watching and continuing to stop by week in and week out. Be sure to follow the Twitch channel, subscribe if you're really enjoying it, and join the Discord if you want to stay up to date on all of the content here at Aegis Esports, not just for League of Legends, but for their Legends of Runeterra, their TFT, and their other ventures as well. On behalf of everybody here at Aegis Esports, Caddy, Septi, and myself, we'll see you guys next week for the qualifiers. Have a good night.
closer, but with a deepest red. Oh, beneath them we look on. When they part comes the hatred.